is up, everyone?
Word to the big bird.
Man, I'm nervous. I've been setting this thing up all day, just really making sure the experience was fun for everybody. I mean, just look at we did the whole thing. We've got the mags, the background, the new Ivan logo. You guys should take a look at that Ivan logo. I'm gonna show that to you. I really want to show you that Ivan logo. You'll see it later.
Hey, Clay, how do I leave comments publicly? Because I can see how I can leave comments with you privately.
On your screen, get out of private chat and look over on your right hand. You can go to the live chat. You're looking at private chat right now.
I see comments. I click on that and I can see everybody, but I don't see where I'm able to comment.
Just scroll down to the very bottom. You'll see where you can leave a comment.
Son of a biscuit.
You're probably still in private. You need to go to public. Anyways, everybody, I've been reading the comments, so I've actually been watching you guys comment for like the last 20 minutes, get everything set up. I'm loving what I'm seeing. You guys are talking about travel into Kalash Bash. You're talking about what gun you're bringing to Kalash Bash. Super exciting. We have over 113 people in the chat. So exciting. I really appreciate it. Let me know if I'm blowing your eardrums out too, by the way. Finally, I've got this new thing that I don't fully understand, but I'm getting there.
Hey, so can y'all hear us okay? Do we have confirmation that audio and visual are acceptable to y'all standards?
Audio good. How about the slow jams in the background? Too low, too high? Let me know, and I could fix that. We're trying to make hey, it's like some baby making music this time around.
So, Clay, are you able to see how many people are going to tune in or are tuning in?
Yeah, we got over 120 people right now.
Holy shnikes. Very good.
Well, we have a lot of people here, so I just wanted to let you guys know if you don't, you're on the Clay Code channels. I greatly appreciate it, whether you're subscribed or not. My name's Clay. I run this show around here on this channel, but a lot of you guys have probably seen Tony Hetty, the gentleman to my, it'd be your right, my left here. He is my business partner, good friend of mine, co-producer of Kalash Bash, owner of Khyber Customs, co-owner of Third Pin Threads. And man, what you guys don't see in the background, he is a huge helping hand in content creating, helping with guns, camera work, literally everything that we do on this channel. Tony is one of those unsung heroes that you don't see all the time. My business relationship with Tony has made a lot of this possible and could not put on Kalash Bash without the guy. He is a huge, huge producer of the event, which we're going to get into today. So Tony, go ahead, man.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I hope that I've met a lot of y'all at Kalash Bash. For those of y'all who are tuning in to want to hear us talk about that event that we're going to be putting on here within the next almost 30 days. But my name's Tony. I own a company called Khyber Customs. We make AK stuff. I've always been an AK guy for a very long time, but about 6 years ago, I had the opportunity to make it a hobby and transition it into a business. And around the same early phase of building that business, I became friends with Clay. We met at the range. He lives about maybe 30 minutes away from me here. And we became really good friends. And over the years, we've just really kind of hit it off. We've been making content on social media together. And then a couple years ago, we had the opportunity to become business partners and start doing an event called Kalash Bash. And that's essentially how this relationship with Clay, how it's developed, and why he invited me to be here with y'all today. So it's a pleasure to meet all of you. And if you'd like to learn more about Khyber Customs, you can go. We have a YouTube channel, we have social media, and we also have a website, khybercustoms.com.
Excellent. Oh, you guys are commenting so freaking fast. This is going to be hard to keep up with.
We're going to need a comment regulator.
Yeah. So I do want to get to as many comments as possible. We do want to set some time aside. So here's what I want to do. I love the participation of the comments. What I'd like to do is we're going to get into some things here, some video reactions. We're going to talk AKs. We're going to answer your questions. What I'll do is at a certain point in the chat, and you guys should know, there's about a 15-second delay from what I am saying to when you're going to hear it. So what we should do later is I'm going to say, okay, right now, we're going to open up the floor for some questions. And at that point, I'm really going to start scanning and we're going to try to answer them as quick as possible. So if you have something really important that you want one of us to answer, it can be any kind of question at all. It doesn't just have to be KB or AK related, although that's what we're good at. And Mateo, thank you for the tip. Tips do help They are certainly not necessary. You guys don't have to tip me a dime. But what's cool about a tip is it helps me find that comment. It's like a big highlighter on your comment, so it's easy for me to track it later. When we do open the floor up for those questions, save the juicy ones. So when you hear me say that, then drop it, and we'll get to it. So, Tony, I think we should kick it old school for a second.
Okay.
That
makes me nervous.
What year did we meet? 2016?
I think it was 17, but 16, 17, yeah.
Okay. I have a little video that you and I made probably about 2017, back when we thought we knew how to make videos and we thought we were funny, if you want to react to it.
Let's see what you got. Or you want me to react or speak about it?
So let's get all the way through it, and then I'll let you react to it. This was back, remember back when you were juicing back in the day?
Oh, gosh. Dude, there's so much stuff I've forgotten about, so I'm looking forward to seeing some of this stuff.
Oh, dude, all right. What's up, my ninja? What's up, Tony? You don't never see that guy anymore.
Dude, you hurt?
Juicing?
Crazy.
That's family.
Yeah.
Tony, what does this hear about you?
What's up? Here, man. You should try sometime.
Oh, go juice.
Yeah, makes me shoot better.
Dang, dude, you definitely kicked it old school. That was probably one of the first videos we ever fucking did.
Oh, dude, that was man, that had to be like 2017. That was back when we were doing a lot at so that this is Texas Rifle Works. You were running Khyber out of this place, so you split a business suite with Texas Rifle Works. And dude, the amount of videos that we never put on the internet, maybe this should have been one of them. But dude, days like these I will never forget. And this is what's kind of cool about Instagram and YouTube and stuff like that. To me, this is fun. This like backlogs memories forever. Like you said, I haven't thought about this until I was going through my old saved videos, looking for some funny stuff about our past. And I'm like, I haven't thought about the juicing video in years. So it's a good one.
Yeah, to add some context, when I first started Khyber Customs, I did it old, like the right way. I like literally converted my kitchen and my dining room into an office, and I very quickly outgrew that. And so I started running Khyber Customs out of there was a shop down the road that sold guns, and that's where that video took place. It was a store called Texas Rifle Works. Shout out to Steven. Anyways, I was out of that shop for probably a good year and a half. But that video, that was before, I think that was before Clayco 47. I think at the time you were still original Clayton. I think we were just fucking off that day, and we just
I didn't realize that you were supposed to like make a name. So my name was Clay Owens on Instagram for like a year, and someone's like, you should probably change that. It's like your full name. You ought to put your address and your social on there too.
Right. Yeah, that was a good video. A lot of the videos that we filmed in there, after we edited them, we were told we're not allowed to post them because there was just too much like sketchy shit going on. That happened often while I was in there. Steven would go, we're not posting that one. I said, all right. So,
hey, Super Geo Killer, thank you for the tip, dude. Clay and Tony, you will like what I did with a box of dong tips I bought. Okay. So you bought the dong tips.
Is that Dylan? Yeah, I think it's Dylan.
So what does he mean by dong tips? Like a bunch of dongs that were cut and he bought all the tips to them?
Dude, I was like selling off like some like garage sale shit on the website a couple weeks ago, and I had all these. When I did all the shark fins years ago, I kept all the tips, and I had this giant box full of dong tips, and I sold them for like $15.
Well, there you go.
And he's doing something cool with them, I guess.
Awesome.
Very cool. So
Smash,
I have.
bro. One second, Tony. I got to shout out my boy Smash. $20.
Gotcha.
I owe a lot to Smash. Smash is the one that really gave me the friggin' crash course on live streams, how to set all this stuff up. YouTube in general, he gave me a bunch of tips, stuff I told myself I would never screw around with. So Smash is the man. Smash Time, go check out his YouTube channel. He goes live all the time. He's a great dude. Go ahead, Tony.
I was gonna say, if we're doing like reactions about like the early day shit, I got a picture that needs some explanation.
Okay.
If you want to share my screen,
Yep.
I'm gonna pull up a picture, and I'd really love for you to explain to everybody what's going on in this picture.
All right, go ahead. Rachel's entered the chat, so I'm sure she'll be happy to see it.
Oop, hang on, here we go.
Dude, I haven't seen.
Oh god.
Okay, so
We'd like, Clay, just for real, like, explain what the F is going on here.
oh man. Okay. Dude, I haven't seen this in so long. Okay, I'm taking a picture of a Podovach with my dumb pit vipers I used to wear way too much. That is that's like a big piece of foil that reflects light for photography. That thing's balled up in my closet now. I've probably never used it since this day. I was too cheap to buy an easel for it, so I would bring it to the range and I would literally like have my camera and I would walk around with this thing like a friggin' jabroni, dude. What a tool.
So I'm going to add a little background to this. So Clay goes to the JMax shoot and he comes back with this shit. And it's like, he's like, man,
that's right.
it's all about the lighting. It was so funny. I was like, dude, this will not last more than one day. And I'm pretty sure I saw that once at the range and I never saw you bring that shit back.
No. Nope.
Oh,
Nope.
Gosh. That was so funny. So yeah, this was like the early days of Clayco 47, by the way. This
Dude,
was
that was
like
so early. That's back
there was
when I wore
nothing at the
those.
range. We didn't have like any fixtures out there. But
Oh,
you were serious from day one, dude. This is like a testament to the work ethic of Clay, that he would like bring all this shit out there to get a fucking picture with his smartphone.
Thank
So-
God I stopped filming with a phone a long time ago. I feel like that was the biggest. It's so easy when you first start out doing Instagram and whatever, you get so used to that phone because you can do everything on it. And man,
So, yeah. And the thing is, if you look, like, dude, that setup that you're running right there is like, I mean, you're still running a similar setup with your tripod or your smartphone on a tripod.
mhm.
Pull it up right there.
Yep. Oh, dude, look at the face. I'm like, fucking got it. Got just one.
Super
Got
focused. Do this guy.
it. Dude,
So
look
I
at
got
the
one.
face.
I got one more early day photo, and Rachel, since she's here, she'll appreciate this one too.
Got it.
Thought maybe y'all could maybe explain a little bit about what the fuck's going on here.
Oh my gosh. Dude. Okay. Is that real? Is that photoshopped or is that real? Is that photoshopped? Okay, let me walk you through it. That's definitely photoshopped. I remember now. Okay. What's going on in the background? That's me. I was standing in Steven's parking lot taking a picture of a gun on the ground. So I was like hunched over moving it. Steven was taking the picture behind me and some friggin' nerd got a picture through a window where it looked like I'm getting cornholed. And Tony has, I don't know how you did it, bro. It looks so good. Yeah. Dude, that's so good.
I was really more focused on Rachel's serious face, but the background's cool too. I mean,
Background's
what's going on back there. I don't-
Super cool.
All right.
Man.
Well, thank you.
That's
for
back when that.
explaining.
What's funny is background. That's when that boy was doing squats. Up front, that's when he gave up. Oh man,
That's funny.
dude. All right.
Are we ready to take some questions? I see so many fucking questions. We got to try to address some of these.
Yeah. All right. Let's leave some questions. Let's do that. Let me scroll over a little bit. Okay, I'm going to go up just a hair. Look, hey, if we don't get to your question, just keep posting it. Now's the time. Let's take 10 minutes.
Someone says, who's going to address the Kalash Bash allegations? Oh, man. This is good.
Are there some allegations?
Apparently there are.
Oh, man.
I did see somebody has a question about Khyber Customs, so I can answer that. Someone's saying, what's up with the wood grips from Khyber Customs? They're never in stock. Well, so they're basically handmade, and we do get them in stock, but we don't get them like all 100, grips in stock all at one time. So in general, I'll usually get like a batch of Mikas, Sonias. I think we had some thick Sonias. We might still have a few thick Sonias left, but they come in batches of like 40, 50, but they're all handmade. So what happens is when we add inventory to our website, if you're signed up for notifications, you get an email almost instantaneously. And so what happens a lot of times with our grips is we add them to the website. All those people who are signed up for notifications get an email, and then they sell through pretty quick. So if there's a particular grip you're looking for, that's the best way to get one. So thank you for asking.
All right, let's see. How can I find out if I signed up for the Friday match or Saturday, Sunday? I can't remember. I believe he would be able to just search his confirmation email, and it should give him all the information that he needs. Does that sound right to you, Tony?
How to find out if you're on the Friday or Saturday, Sunday? Worst case scenario, if you have a question, you could always just send us an email and we'll answer it. The email is kalashbashtx@gmail.com. That's pretty easy for us to look that up for you.
They could check squatting.
Direct to the answers.
All right, let's see. What has happened to 5.56 AK mags? It seems like there's a 5.56 AK mag desert out there. Man, I don't think so. 5.56 AK mags, you got AC Unity mags. They're everywhere. They work in everything. Polish mags seem to be everywhere. I haven't bought one in a while. You've always got the tried and true Circle 10 mag. If they're hard to find right now, that's news to me. Tony, this is a good one for you.
Will Taco Bell ever sponsor Kalash Bash? I don't know, dude. I guess that could be pretty cool, but...
Dude, I've been trying to get Cheez-Its for like 4 years at this point, but their Instagram's kind of dead. They haven't really maintained it well, so I need to find another way to reach out to them.
We're still working on Coors Light and Marlboro right now, so we'll see if that goes anywhere.
8 rounds of shooting. How much ammo do we need to bring? Bro, Mike and Lan... Yeah, Mike and Lan are going for... That is what's on the page. Mike and Lan are going for high round counts. I believe 250 is... overshooting just a little in case you don't shoot clean. Any of these big matches, man, I usually bring half a case, but you don't need to if you miss a bunch. But 250 should get you through the match, even with a lot of misses.
Call it 300 just to play it safe. If you're having a sucky day,
call it 1,000.
Mm-hmm. Good questions, y'all. Keep them coming. Oh, here's the allegation answer.
I'm missing it here. Let's see. Actually, don't know. I don't know much about airsoft guns. I really don't. When will Clay and Tony kiss? We have already done that. Been there, done that.
Oh yeah, too much tequila down here in Texas. Things get weird.
I can't even find the Polish WPP and FB bottom mags. Man, you're just not looking hard enough. If you're into AKs, you got to learn to be resilient. Check Reddit. Go to Comblock Market. There's a lot of places you can find stuff secondhand. Don't give up if you can't find it brand new over on the shelf. Tony, here's a good question. Thoughts on the M70? M77.
On the M77. So the M77 is the 308 gun, right?
Yep.
When I got into AKs like 12 years ago, I had to choose. Like, I could go down the Chicom rabbit hole, I could go down the Yugo rabbit hole, or I could go down like the AKM rabbit hole. And I went down the AKM rabbit hole, and I really invested most of my time learning about the Russian, Bulgarian, Polish, Egyptian, all of those variants. And to be perfectly honest with you, I never really grew a fondness to the Yugo guns. That being said, we did post sample a couple of Yugo guns. We have an M70 and we've got an M72 RPK, and I'm becoming fond of them. I'm not sure about a DMR rifle AK yet, but I don't hate them. I guess maybe that's an easier answer. I don't hate them.
If you go to Kalash Bash, you might win one. That's what I know about it.
Yeah, we got to play with one here. Zastava sent us one to give away at Kalash Bash, and I'll tell you, it's a really, really nice looking rifle.
It's a freaking thumper.
Yeah.
You will need more porta potties if you have Taco Bell sponsor the event. That's probably true. On the topic of porta potties, we also do have climate controlled bathrooms. So you poop and pee in the same comfort of your own home at Kalash Bash. There's even like some decorative sinks, decorative fixtures.
Hey, while you mention that, Clay, let's just drive that home. So for those of y'all who have been to Kalash Bash, you're well aware of this, but if you haven't been, if you're coming for your first time, one of the things that Clay and I kind of set as an expectation for ourselves in doing these events was that we didn't want to spare any expense for our audience, because y'all are out there for like 3 days, right? And this was something that we learned from the venue as well, as they helped kind of guiding us to plan this event. As they said, look, guys, porta potties, if your crowd is out there for like an hour or two, porta potties are perfectly good. But you got people who are like, they're spending 3 days out with you. You really owe it to them to really raise the bar. And so our restrooms, we actually, Clay, I don't know if I told you this, we actually have 3 different luxury restroom trailers this year. So over in the main event, there is a trailer that you walk into. It's air conditioned controlled. Men and women will have a second one over there in the main event. And then over at the campground, not only do we have a luxury trailer for the bathrooms, but there's also a luxury trailer for showers. So for the people who are like camping out there, you're not out there giving yourself like wet wipe baths for 3 days. There's actually showers. You can go in there and take a cold shower, a hot shower in the morning or evening. And that's something that a lot of people who've come out to Kalash Bash have said that made it like an easy decision to want to come back. So
yep, you can wash your butts. Adam, yes, they are. They are too. Comblock Market is dead. I didn't know that.
Yeah, the Reddit page.
Here's a quick one. I'm going to start shooting from the hip on these, and then I'm going to get into a little video reaction here. Can you guys discuss the best place to get all types of AK furniture and your experience in ordering surplus furniture? Dude, for Yugo stuff, I usually go to Apex because they have a lot of Balkan war wood. So if you like trench art and you like Serbian pattern guns, Yugo pattern guns, they have some really cool stuff that'll have some trench art on it. Numeric is a good place too. Back in the day, Khyber used to have a lot of surplus. I don't know if you do that anymore, Tony.
Back in the day, it was really easy to get, and I could buy it, several hundred pieces at a time. But I think the challenge right now is that like the really nice, like the stuff that I used to buy years ago, I could buy stuff that like had, original shellac coating on it. It had serial numbers stamped in them. They were very, very clean. The stuff that's coming in now is like what's left. It's like bottom of the barrel. A lot of it's been refinished or resurplused. Really, really rough furniture. Your best bet, in my opinion, if you're wanting like that original look and you're wanting like that old school look, you got to really kind of dig around and figure out where people are selling and trading on the secondhand market. So back in the day, AK Files and AK Forum were really the places. I'm not really sure how active those forums are anymore, but AK Files, the AK Forum, I'm sure on Facebook and Reddit that there are still some active forums out there for collectors that are actively trading stuff.
There's some guys on Instagram that I've used. I don't want to give a lot of their names out, but honestly, I follow a couple of the surplus guys on Instagram.
Yeah.
Kalash Wood, not only does he refinish, but he does sell a lot of stuff. But there's a lot of dudes like that just say, yo, I got 50 grip sets available. I got 50 stock sets available. That's how I've been buying surplus for probably the last year. Just following dudes on Instagram, waiting for them to post up stuff for sale.
The reality of it is that the really good stuff, like the stuff that you really want, there is less of it available than there are people who want to buy it. And so the people who are working the hardest and spending the most amount of time tracking this stuff down and joining groups and doing their research and investing their time looking for this stuff are going to be the ones that find it and are able to get their hands on it.
Eddie B, KR103762. So you're not going to find plum mags unless you find an uber rare fake plum Bulgarian waffle mag, which isn't really worth buying. So plum is really for 545 74s. So I'm assuming the 103 is probably your first AK. That's cool, but just know plum, people are usually talking about 74 mags.
There are a couple good refinishers out there that are selling mags that are painted. So Pro 2 Customs, 11 Mile. Who else is selling mags? Meme Mags. A lot of people out there who are doing like custom mags and stuff like that you could reach out to.
Chris Edwards, falling down the Yugo rabbit hole. The AK rabbit hole is vast, and it's got a lot of offshoots. The Yugo hole is just one of them, so that's cool.
I think really that's like the big charm for AKs, at least for the guys who have been kind of long-term invested, is all the little details, all the little variances, all the little things, like when Russia went from milling out the barrel components to casting them. You know, I've got parts from like a 73 Tula that were like transitional. Like there's just so much cool things that happened that made them, you know, different along the years. Someone's saying, "Hey Clay, I can't hear you right now, just so you know."
Yeah, Rachel was telling me goodnight.
Okay, gotcha.
Justin, you mostly do competition shooting or fast shooting. Any videos of more marksman-like shooting like Rob Ski's? Do you own DMRs? I don't. Long range, I do it if I have to at a match. I know Tony's really trying to get into the long range world. Me, it's hard to find a place to do it. We can do it at the ranch. It goes out to like 700-800 yards. Basically, if any of you watch 9-hole reviews, the same location they film, we have access. That's actually the location of Kalash Bash. So we have access to that 1,000-yard range. I'm just never there. I only go if I know it's going to be at a match, and I'll go get dope on my irons or my optics. I don't do it all the time, so I'm not a good person to ask. I can get you out to 300 yards easy on irons. Beyond that, I'm asking questions too on where to hold. So
go follow 9-hole reviews. If you're not following 9-hole reviews, check that page out. Really good guys. They're local to us, and they do a lot of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Let's see. I'm gonna skip a few. We're really falling behind here. Let's do 3 more questions, and then I've got a video for Tony.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh, one of our volunteers. So I'm part of the volunteer team. What time do I need to be up to make my shift in the morning?
If you are a part of the volunteer staff, you'll have an email that tells you all the details of all that stuff, and it will probably come out in the next 2 weeks. Just a heads up. But thank you for asking, and thank you for your volunteering. Like, you know, we don't have an opportunity to shout y'all out as much as we wish we could, but when Clay and I first did Kalash Bash, it was just the 2 of us, and it woke us up very quickly to how much help we need to be able to do these things. And so we're extremely grateful for the people who stand up and take the opportunity to help us with things like registration, vendor support, setting up and tear down. It really does take a lot to do these things. So we're really grateful. Thank you, Dylan. I appreciate your support.
Dario, I believe the farthest they're pushing out this year is 200 yards. There are 2 long range stages, but I believe they're trying to keep it within 200. Arsenal Sam 7 thoughts. Very good. The bathroom's nice. KC Ghost, yeah, he knows. He's brought his dump truck in those bathrooms before. He knows.
They're nice enough to sit there and eat the Taco Bell. They are. They're really nice. In fact, I think when was it? Was it like on Monday when we were tearing everything down? We actually went in there and
used them for the first time,
and they were very nice.
Used them after like 700 other people used them, and they were still nice. I'm like, damn, there's like music playing in the background and AC. This is nice. Yeah, those were nice. B&T AK accessories, if they make them, I don't know anything about them. And can we get some Clayco branded Zenico accessories? I don't have that kind of clout with Zenico, let alone I have no clue how they're going to keep bringing stuff in. But I would sure pay attention to a lot of companies that are going to make some similar product to that, so you don't have to bring Zenico in through crime, unless you're into that kind of thing. You guys got tinnitus yet? No, I don't think so. Always wear ear protection, dude. It ain't worth it.
My ears ring a little bit, but I also played drums for like many, many years before getting into guns. I probably lost most of my hearing then.
All right, let's do one more. Here we go. Let's see. Let us see. AK Options, that's a good place to shop. What's the best way to contact Clay? Probably just shoot me a DM somewhere, dude. Instagram, maybe. I've got a Facebook account. You can shoot me a private message on the Clayco Facebook. I check that one a couple times a week. Last question, Tony. Here's a good one for you.
Okay.
Question, can I shower with my AK at KB?
I mean, I don't think anybody would be weirded out if you did. But technically, the way things work there are times of the day where firearm handling is permitted, and there's times of the day where firearm handling is not. So as long as you're doing it while firearms are permitted to be handled and you're doing it in a safe manner, then it sounds like you're pretty good to go. Now, as far as getting a golden shower with your AK, oh yeah, we do that shit all the time. So if that's what you're talking about.
We can find time to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
So Tony, I want to kick it old school here a little bit. This is a, I'm going to give you a hint here.
You're doing a video?
This is a post that we made a while ago that went freaking viral, sauce. Some of you may have seen this video and you probably have no idea that it was us that made it. It's been ripped 1,000 times. This is one of those, you got to be in the right place at the right time when you're filming. So, Tony?
All right, let's see what you got. Oh, God.
I'm out. Can I get a mag? What the hell is this? A door stuff? Come on, give me a mag. 30 round waffle. What is this? Chuck E. Cheese? A real mag. 40 round waffle? Come on, guys. I can do 100 push ups in 30 seconds. This is a fucking mag. Premature.
Next viral video coming right up. That video got, I don't know when it came out, 200 weeks ago. That video got 370,000 views back when.
That was the first one that really went ape shit.
It went wild, and it gets ripped all the time. But so this is just one of those times, dude. This was nothing more than like 6 or 7 of us going to the range, and Leo had this Bulgarian waffle mag that he found, and he says, guys, I've got this 90 round waffle mag. It looks factory, and it did. Like, if you saw this thing up close, it was seamless, and none of us knew the origin. We didn't know if someone made it. We didn't know anything about it, and I thought it was cool as shit. So we had a machine gun there that day, and we came up with this dump video. Like, we had a 10 rounder, a 20, a 30, a 40, and this 90 rounder. Tried it a couple times, and finally when we filmed, the freaking thing explodes in front of all of us. Everyone thought that we like pre-cut the mag, that we made the mag ourselves and we had the whole thing planned. No, we'd shot that mag like 3 times off camera, and it ran and ran. The second we filmed it, it exploded.
We ripped rounds to that mag multiple times that day. It turns out what it was, I believe it was 2 40 rounders that got plastic welded together.
Yep.
But we didn't know at the time. The guy that brought it out, he just had it, and we were like, that's cool as shit. Let's dump rounds to it. And it exploded in the middle of filming. But it was funny, the amount of hate. I remember, Clay, when you first posted it, and it was like going viral on Instagram, and you were like, hey, Tony, you called me or you texted me or something like that. And you were like, hey, I just want to let you know that video, it's getting shared on the internet, like in other places. And I'm like, cool, dude. And you were like, don't go read the comments. And I'm like, why? And it's like, people were saying I couldn't do any push-ups or some stupid shit like that. Oh, I was laughing so hard, but it was like, it got shared on like some page that had nothing to do with guns, right? And so it was like all these non-gun people like, what the fuck? So
that's what's funny about a video when it goes viral. You know, when you share a video on Instagram and it does well, it's usually all your followers and friends that see it, and everyone's like, hey, like, you know, it's whatever. When a video goes viral, that's when you start to see people that are just like, I don't like that guy's face. Like, you just start to get all the random comments, just the super hateful comments. So it's good and it's bad when stuff goes viral. It does, you know, favors if it does, but it definitely brings out the dummies. We could have a whole, you know, we talked about this off camera. I'm starting to backlog like all the raunchy comments I get on just across all platforms. I would love to compile all the dumbest, meanest comments I've ever got and just react to them in a video. I've got some doozies.
It's
Most
funny
people
too, and like this is kind of worth mentioning for those of y'all who are listening. You're gonna want to hear this. So Clay and I have like we have like this privilege that not a lot of people have, in that we've been able to make connections of people's faces with who they are on the internet. And unless you have access to that kind of stuff, you don't really know, right? Because most people are operating with a degree of anonymity on the internet. So you never really know who these people are, right? But with Kalash Bash, you know, we come in contact with hundreds of people, and every once in a while we're able to like connect, like, oh, this is that person, or this is that person. And I can tell you that like some of these people who are like the biggest, like just jerk offs on social media, if you met them in real life, they're like, most of them are like really fucking weird, just like fucking neckbeard jabronis, or they're like the biggest pipsqueaks on earth. And it's like, oh, okay, this is what I thought. I thought that these people were just big fucking losers in real life, and it turns out that they are. And anyways, just saying, it's most of the people, 99.9% of the people that come to Kalash Bash, they're like the type of people that we would hang out with, and they're our friends. And if you only existed on social media, you would think that everybody is a big fucking jerk off, but it's not that way at all. In the real world, the people who come to Kalash Bash, the people who actually get off their couch and get out of the basement and actually show up at these things, are all like real fucking G's, like real cool ass mofos. But every once in a while, one of those fucking people gets off the couch and shows up, and it's just hilarious to realize this is the guy that talks the most shit on the internet.
And it's rare.
Like freaking neckbeard meth head, you know, in real life. So anyways.
And it is rare. That is a great point, man. You won't see the people that you think that the mean people are usually the loudest on the forums. They don't go to events. They usually don't.
Yeah.
The people that are nice, that leave nice comments or just don't comment at all, they're really just in it for the fun of it. That's the type of person that you'll see. Dirty Red, thank you for the tip, dude. He says, what tools will I need to work on my own AK? That's a whole live stream in and of itself. Buy a Dremel. Start there. If we're talking like basic minor stuff, I think anyone that owns an AK, have a Dremel to do minor fitting. I'm not even going to get into like riveting and barrel population, stabbing a barrel. I've never done it. I know the tools that are involved. It's a lot. Start with a Dremel, dude. You can polish up hammers. You can make minor fitments. If you got Zenitco, you're going to need a Dremel. The best tool you're going to have to learn how to work on your own AK is going to be like the internet. It's going to be learning how to do searches. The reason why that is because there's an incredible amount of information out there that's already archived, and you'll get lost and you'll realize like it seems like a really complex things, but there are companies out there that make all the tools, and there are builders out there who make specialty tools for all this type of stuff. Give yourself a couple weeks just to deep dive in and start learning and reading up on the archives out there, and you'd be surprised how much shit is out there for sure. Okay, Tony, I've got another video, not exactly AK related. I just kind of want to get your thoughts on this, if that's okay.
Okay. What was she doing?
You didn't hear that her rip a man-sized fart that lasted like 15
I didn't
seconds?
Hear it. No.
Oh my god, dude. All right, give yourself some volume on this one, dude. Okay. This is Tom Segura's mom. I don't know if you like Tom Segura. It says Mom Churro.
I'm a fan. I didn't hear the healthy fart.
Get some volume.
Oh god. I mean, I can't hate, dude, because I'm pretty sure every one of us have ripped like a hellish, like just solo, like it's almost therapeutic fart like that. So props on her, dude. She just got busted doing it.
Oh, dude. Well, yeah, we really want it. We've seen Tom live once, and I got to do it again. Okay, one more video for you, Tony. This is something recent, a masterpiece. This is a masterpiece, dude. We had to get special approval to even upload this video, but I'm going to share it now.
Okay.
Give yourselves some volume on this.
You mean Rachel had to approve this one?
Yes.
Gotcha.
So let us know in the comments what
Rachel.
you think about this one. Rachel, if you're watching, I apologize.
What's up, bitches? It's ya girl Rachel, aka Big Squirts. Yogi, let me ask you, what kind of Ruger is this? Let me holla at this Draco. No, I'm saying. This is definitely not a Draco. Is he still recording? Oh boy, this is bad. I am totally fucked. Pew 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 pew. Dirty Harold. Whoops, wrong hole. LOL. LOL. Here, hold this. I gotta take a dump. Yeet. What's up, bitches? It's Jagger.
I gotta admit, that's like my finest. That's probably my finest work. So
What do you think about
right
that?
now.
I took a bullet for y'all.
Yeah, she did. She's like, I jumped out a grenade for y'all on that one.
That's what I posted in the caption. It was like, Rachel took one for the team this morning. Like, and just so, like, for those of y'all who just watched that, if you have already seen it, or maybe you're seeing it for the first time, basically, I cut that video together the other morning, and before I shared it to social media, I sent it to Clay because I wanted him to see it, and then I called him because I wanted to just say, hey, what are your thoughts? Like, is this a little too much? Whatever. And apparently I got conferenced in like immediately on a call with Rachel. And it was like, it took us a good 10 minutes to hash out a negotiation on whether or not we could post this or not. So big props to Rachel.
And you know what's so funny? She was basically saying, I'm going to need the day. Give me the day to think of it. And you know what got her? We were like, all right, take a day. But just know, you were looking pretty fly that day. You had the Gucci belt. You were looking good. You looked so good in the video. And Kelly's in the background. Oh my God, Rachel, you looked so good in the video. And she's like, all right. Okay, you can post it. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
That's what it took.
A complete U-turn on the I need all day. It was like, all right, Rachel, we'll give you a day. But you're looking like a snack in that video. She's like, you're right. Fucking post it. Let's do it.
That's all me.
She's like, Big Squirt, approve.
Don't call me that.
Oh, that's so good.
Oh, dude. All right. Let me see here. What I want to do is answer a couple more questions, and then I have a video queued up for us here in a little bit.
Before we do questions, can I post one video? I have one video to share. Can we do that, and then we'll do questions?
Abso-freaking-lutely.
Okay. So the video that I'm sharing is also, if you remember the video that you shared earlier where we were at the shop doing the juicing video, I have a video of us from our early days. And this one was when I think this video is when I think we realized we're onto something here. Like, you and I work well together and we have the same sense of humor. So this is the video I got. I need the right mouse.
Freaking Jacob. Thank you for the tip, Jacob. He says, this live is not babushka friendly. Are you watching it with your grandma? Of course you are, Jacob. Of course you are.
So you'll have to go to my screen.
Yep, I got you. I remember this. I still have this saved.
Okay, tell me if you have audio. I don't know if you're going to hear the audio or not.
It's not playing for us. It's playing really bad for us.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, it's super choppy. It probably doesn't look good.
Well, we'll save it for another.
I do remember this, though. I think this was the first thing we ever filmed together.
Yeah, sorry, dude. I was hoping that one would work. We'll save that one for another day. Or we can just reshare it. That was a good one.
Yeah, we could reshare that. That was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
right,
everyone's
so
asking where's it posted. If you want to see the video of Rachel, go follow Khyber Customs and Richella Bella 107 on Instagram, and you can see the video as many times as you want. Save it.
How about instead of a video, I have a picture? Is that cool?
Yep.
Okay. This is going to open up an opportunity to talk about really where Kalash Bash got its start.
Yep. So this was 2018. This was actually we started getting together for like AK Files meet and greets. We all met through Brandon, who found out I lived local. There was a bunch of dudes on AK Files that were going to this range, and we would get together and shoot. Well, we all got together for a Christmas thing, and I want to say this was the second time. I think we all got together like in 2017, and then in 2018, there was like 30 of us that got together, and there were flamethrowers, and it was really just a Christmas-themed gathering. It was just us, just our friends. We didn't sell tickets to it. And man, it was like the funnest time of the whole year. And it was just us with AKs, dressed all Christmassy, hanging out. And I think this sort of kind of gave us a wild hair up our ass to say, I mean, if we can get a bunch of our friends to come out, I wonder if we had tiny social medias at the time. In the grand scheme of things, we didn't have a whole lot of social media power, but we thought, dude, it would be cool if we like put out the bat signal and maybe got people to like come out to another Christmas thing. And we started launching promos like this, and it worked, dude. I remember we sold out our very first Kalashmas, literally sold it out the day we launched tickets. And we were like, holy crap. I had like totally blew us away. Had no idea people even wanted to pay money to come out and do this, but we did. And it was fun. I remember the first Kalashmas, we kind of flew by the seat of our pants. We had like a basic firing line set up. We had some prizes. I think Sentry sent us like a Wasser that we gave away. Like we didn't have a whole lot, but that Kalashmas kind of started, it gave us the courage to try to do something beyond that, even bigger. And that's when we kind of started thinking about doing something to the scale of Kalash Bash. It all was because we used to shoot dirt piles around Christmas time at the Renaissance together. That's how everything was born.
Yeah, it was cool. It was like the first time we really did anything, it was like 30, 40 people showed up. There was guns laying everywhere. I mean, it was like every chair that you could sit on, every table there was completely covered in guns. There was no like spot to sit down. And I remember filming that and being like, you know, I mean, this is like before we even imagined what we were doing today. And we're like, look at all these badass guns. Like, this is like all your best friends getting together. And then like what you said, Clay, we were thinking, well, what about all the friends that we haven't made yet? Like, can we just like turbocharge this and do something and get like maybe 100 people out? And, you know, it's funny, if you had told us like the first time around that Kalash Bash could be an event that 1,000 people would come to, and people did tell us that, and we were like, yeah, we'll be lucky if like 300 people show up. So it's really, I mean, it's just crazy how much it's grown. But wow, what a great experience. And the lighting was great that day for that picture.
Yeah, it was really gloomy. Lots of overcast. I think that's a good segue to go into our first video that I'd like to basically have a live watch party here with the audience.
Cool.
So now that you guys, you can kind of, you know how me and Tony got together. I mean, we just used to throw together dumb promos back in the day, from juicing to small get-togethers to more videos to going viral a few times to really getting to know each other and working well together and having a good team around us. And eventually, you know, we meet Mike and Lan at Dissonant Arms. It was over a brat. It was beer and brat at Texas Rifle Works, the same shop that you saw earlier in the juicing video. We were literally sitting outside, drinking some beer, eating some brats, and we were just pitching this idea around a fire. Like, you know, we keep having this, you know, successful Christmas events and little gatherings. We want to do something big with a match and some other things, like get some vendors involved, prizes, you know, several hundred people. Pipe dream, right? Mike and Lan looked at us and thought, hey, if you want to do the match, like we're local, we could definitely help out with that. And the conversation started to snowball. We kept drinking, and eventually we all kind of clink. Let's just see what happens. And long story short, we found a venue and we did it for the first time. And I kind of wanted to watch a little bit of Kalash Bash 19 with you, the viewers, the people that are tuning in live with us right now. A trip down memory lane, thanks to Mr. Brandon Herrera.
Hey guys, go range, go range! Also, they should not have given me this. The first person to slap Clay on the ass gets a decal.
I think it's gonna be a long, long time.
Oh yeah.
Who wasn't tuning into Khyber Customs live stream, this gentleman right here has agreed in exchange for a pretty badass rifle that we are going to put together. He has agreed to have my logo, Clay's logo, and Tony's logo tattooed on his ass right here at Kalash Bash. This gentleman is going to be doing it for us. And I might have a little hand in it myself. So we'll, the tattoo, not his ass. Awesome, probably shows.
Quick little bit of background here. This was our first event. And what do? We literally had a half-naked dude on a stretcher getting a tattoo on his ass cheek to win a free gun built by Brandon Herrera. Like, talk about not playing it safe your first time. Kind of went rated R. But I'll keep it quick and we'll get back to the video. This was a live stream that we had with Brandon. And Possum just jumped in the comments and he was, chatting back and forth. And I don't remember who said it. Someone said, someone should really get a tattoo on their ass and win something, win like a free gun or something. And Possum kept going, me, I'll do it. And we said, well, what if someone got Kalash Bash and maybe everyone's logo tattooed on their ass? Maybe we totally weren't going to do it. And Possum kept saying, I'll freaking do it. Just tell me when and where. And Brandon's like, look, hey, if he does it at the event, I'll build him a gun. Anyway, this is what happened.
His ass quite a lot. So this is prime real life. Would you like some alcohol, my friend?
You want to put your magical touch on your own logo?
Hey, pause it.
What's up, guys?
All right, so 2 quick things about the butt tattoo. Clay already talked about how the butt tattoo came to life, but there's 2 really funny things about the butt tattoo that I remember from 2019. Number 1, I remember like how enthusiastic the tattoo artist was. The tattoo artist shows up. He drove all the way from Corpus, and he was like, man, I'm going to be doing tattoos. Like, he was so excited. Like, his attitude, he was such a nice guy, and he always was a really nice guy. But I just remember how enthusiastic he was when he showed up. And it was like, after he did the butt tattoo, he like walks up, he's like, yo, dude, I gotta go. And it was like, the guy couldn't wait to like leave. Like, I think he just was like, I knew I was gonna do something weird. And the whole like hairy ass tattoo thing, like, just really, I'm ready to go home. So we paid him and he dipped. Like, right after that, it was just like, dang, dude.
I'm not sure he had a good time at all.
And then the second part is,
I think he assumed he was going to be there and just sell like a ton of tattoos to people. We're like, nah, it's just this one thing. He did not have a good time.
For those of y'all who haven't heard the story, that guy, Possum, his name's Clark, and he's a friend of ours, and we made a deal with him that if he got that ass tattoo, he would never have to pay to come to Kalash Bash. So you'll see him.
True.
You'll see him every year. Every year Kalash Bash happens, as long as he wants to come, he can come, and he'll never have to pay admission to get into the event. But the funny thing about that ass tattoo is he had texted his wife like early in that week, or early, like a couple days before Kalash Bash, and I think he was trying to feel her out on, hey hun, like, I might get my ass tattooed, he, just trying to like kind of feel it out. And his wife like completely shut him down and was like, don't even fucking think about it. Don't even think about it. So apparently when he got the ass tattoo, he completely defied, and broke the trust with his wife. And when he went home, he basically left the event and he drove all the way home. And while we were all sitting around with our friends drinking, still at Kalash Bash, he called us and said, I just got home and I need to tell you what happened. And long story short, he gets home and I guess his wife knows some shit is up and she's waiting for him in the shower. Like, she's in the shower and she's like, welcome home, honey. Why don't you come hop in the shower with me? And he's like, ugh, because he's got his ass covered. You know, it's like taped up from the tattoo. And so he tells us that, like, he gets home, takes his clothes off, and he's like trying to shimmy into the shower without her seeing his ass. Somehow his wife just swings him around. And she's like, is it real? And grabs him. And, you know, he, of course, I'm sure he's in pain. And, yeah, it's real. And, oh, man, it was just like his wife had a complete meltdown. And shortly after that happened, he calls us on his cell phone to tell us this story. And we were all drunk as shit. And we're just laughing our ass off in the RV. It was such a hilarious story. So
yeah, there was like 15 of us just drinking. It was late that night. And you had the phone on speakerphone. And, dude, the whole RV just erupts. Oh, God, it was so good.
We were crying.
Oh,
and
man,
Possum, we'll never be able to thank you enough. It's probably one of the best stories we'll ever have to share about Kalash Bash is the ass tattoo and like the wrecked marriage that probably came as a result of that.
So someone mentioned we had a special guest at Kalash Bash, not Brandon, but well, you'll see. Yeah, we had a freaking tornado.
Texas tornado, knowing me way again. Story wouldn't happen again, but I looked at you and then I'm like a tumbleweed in a Wild West Texas wind. You're blowing me away.
Tornado party 2019.
So that was terrifying. First event, and literally the weather didn't say anything. A tornado hits, the temperature drops like 15 degrees, and the event is decimated. You saw that shot of just the canopies, twisted metal. It was insane, but the show went on, dude.
The tornado actually made contact maybe 20 miles away, but the temperature dropped like 20 degrees, and the winds like tripled in speed in a matter of 30 seconds. And I remember driving up from our RV because I had to go get inventory or go get something. I'm driving my truck down the hill to the major tent and I see everything change. The temperature dropped and I'm like, what? This is like sketchy as shit. And like the tents are starting to fly like out of the ground and they're flying through the air. And I remember asking Mike from Distant Arms. Mike goes running past me and I'm like, do we tell people to go home? And he's like, I don't know. No, tell them to stay. That was crazy.
That was wild. But what that did for me, if I could get through throwing my very first event, have a tornado almost destroy everything, and clearly you can see here, we kept going. We just started shooting everything that the tornado destroyed. We balled it all up at the back of the bay, and then that firing line just started decimating all of the old canopies. It just became like a big shooting fest in a field into a berm. But dude, it was, I wouldn't change anything about 19, just how it was like the wild freaking West, dude. The campsite, everything about it was so, we barely got through it. We did not have staff. We learned, you got to have people for trash cans. You can't just have 2 porta potties. You have to have someone direct.
2 porta potties, or else the poop starts piling up.
There's the porta potty for like several hundred people. We learned that you have to have a lot. There's a lot of loose ends that need to be tied up. There's really, if there was a book on how to throw gun events, we didn't find it. We didn't know where to find it. Never read it, so we just sort of did it. And I'd like to say it felt overwhelming many times. But I remember when Kalash Bash 19 was done, one of the things I'll never forget, it was done. We'd given away, what was it, like $50,000 in prizes, some crazy amount. I don't know how we pulled it together for our first event. And we walked in the RV afterwards, and like it was me and Rachel and you, and we were just like, holy shit. Like we did it. You know, we did this thing this thing, Kalash Bash. We did it. We pulled it off. People seemed to have a good time. And it was a good time. We got vendors to show up, bring guns, and to give guns away. Jim freaking Fuller came out, for crying out loud, which was awesome. It was a really good time. And that was the genesis of everything. That really showed us, okay, we know what we can do with the like a shoestring budget and the bare minimum. Now, if we can really bust our balls and work a whole year, not just half a year, but work a whole year on an event, what could it turn into? And when Kalash Bash 2020 rolled around, dude, that was to me some stuff of legend, dude. That was one of the coolest thing I was personally ever involved with. Everything, we turned everything up to 11 from 19 when we went into 2020.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was like we just kind of did it. We just knew that we had the support of the right people, and we knew that no matter what, like, our heart was in it for the right reason. And I mean, at that point, like, even if we fucked up, it wasn't going to be because we didn't try or we didn't, have our head in the right place. And I think that pretty much guided us. But it was really funny because you don't really understand the amount of work and the lack of sleep that you get, the days ahead of it. And I remember it was me and my girl, it was you and Rachel, and we shared an RV. And after Saturday night, we went to bed. While everyone was out there partying, you and I went to bed, and we didn't shower. We literally went to sleep, woke up, put new clothes on, still unshowered. And I remember bustling around in the RV with you and Rachel, and we didn't even say a word to each other because it was 5 a.m, and we're like, time to get up and do it again.
Everything hurts.
And dehydrated, and you're just fucking wet and muddy and smell like shit, and you're just all right, let's do it again. We didn't say a word. We literally grabbed our walkie-talkies and walked out of the RV and went straight to doing what we had to do.
Well, I do have a video I need you to react to before we get into any more KB stuff. So let's pump the brakes on KB for 1 second.
Okay.
This is a good buddy of ours. A lot of you that go to KB, or if you're just local to this area, you may have met this guy. But in Texas, we have a lot of wildlife here that's indigenous to Texas. A lot of animals grow in Texas that you just won't see in any other state in the country, let alone the world. So I wanted to show you one. In Texas, we call this a flying moon squirrel. It's pretty sick.
Ooh, this is one of my favorites.
Just a short nature documentary.
Tonight's adventures of living in Texas, we caught ourselves a flying squirrel. It's okay, little guy. Oh. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and let him go. He's very scared, but he's very cute. You can see his tail. I don't know if they bite me. I don't know if they bite him.
Oh, it's so cute. I know whose shop that is.
Oh, shit!
That is our resident wild man. We have are we gonna say who it is? I mean, we're gonna say who it is, right?
Yeah, we might as well. He told me not to share that video, and I've gone about 1.5 years without sharing it. So I think statute of limitations is gone.
Right, it's expired. That's Cody from Weapon Genetics. And the funny story about how we met Cody was back at Kalash Bash 2019. This kid was emailing us asking if he could bring his laser because he wanted to laser mugs. And I'm like, bro, we don't have any electricity out there. You got to bring a generator. He's like, I kept getting emails from him, man, I want to bring my laser out. And then one day at one of our Clashmas events, Cody shows up with his laser and all of his shit, and he won us over with his charisma and his personality. We were like, whoever this guy is, we just need to make him a part of our group because he is just fucking hilarious. And that's how Cody got into the Circle of Trust.
Yeah. We were hanging out at my house for Halloween. Do you remember that? And we went on a walk, and he's dressed like Dr. Fauci for Halloween. And we got to the lake, and he's like, dude, a freaking flying squirrel got in my shop the other day. Like, you got to see this. He did not warn me. And spoiler alert, there's a lot more to that video that has to be edited off the end.
Right.
And oh, dude, I remember when I first saw it, I got weak in the knees. And you just hear Melissa, if you watch the full video, which we obviously cannot show here, the full video, you hear Melissa go, "Oh God, Cody, put some pants on."
The funny thing about that video too is that, you know, for the normal person, that might be a hilarious incident. But for Cody, that probably is like what everyday life is like at Cody's house. That's probably every day at Cody's house. That's what is playing out, is some crazy shit like that.
Dude, Cody's man. I don't even know how to explain Cody to some people. He is the wildest, most free spirit. He's the most free human being I've ever met. I'll put it that way. Kevin at MK3, that's exactly how he described Cody. He's like, and Kevin, he's like, doesn't work for anyone. He's head to toe with tattoos. He's like a total free spirit. And he's like, Cody Weapon Genetics is the freest human being I've ever met in my life. Everything. The dude raises ducks, chickens, builds guns, now has a herd of goats, has 2 kids, his own property, a fish pond that he sells catfish out of. The dude's got like, I call him the man of 1,000 hustles. The dude's got so many hustles. I just see a post on Facebook one day where he's like, I got live catfish for sale. Like, this dude, so many hustles.
The last text that I got from Cody, I was at his house. I was at his shop and at his house maybe a little bit more than a week ago. And he goes out in his backyard behind the shop. We were standing out there because I found there's like all these like freezer bags full of rice and beans like laying in the back of his shop. And I'm like, what is this? He's like, oh yeah, those were buried in my yard. I just dug them out. And it's like all this like rice and beans and shit. And then I look further out and there's like this old school like bench press, you know, like the old one that like our grandpas had, you know, and a punching bag hanging from a tree. I'm like, yo, dude, you trying to get a workout in, you know, in between hours? He's like, yeah, I'm gonna start lifting. Like the next day he texts me, and this is the text. I was outside on my bench press and I swallowed a bug. Great way to start a workout.
Yeah, his shop was owned by a guy named Stainless that was like the leader of a gangster biker gang back in the day. So he's always digging stuff out of the yard that really should not be there. Interesting fella.
Yeah.
Oh, the full video of Cody will be on OnlyFans. We should do that.
Oh, dude, he's such a great guy to have around because he's Clay and I, a part of our recipe to success. And we learned this after our first year at Kalash Bash. When we went into the follow-up year of Kalash Bash, we were like so hyper-focused on like everything has to be controlled. Like we have to like have everything so tight. And then we realized if you had asked us, are you cool with a tornado? We would have said, no, don't do it. But because that tornado happened, it made it so that we're all family now, right? That changed the trajectory of everything for us and our friends. Is it made us all have to survive together. Like this tornado incident, we all became family after that. We were no longer friends. And so I guess to a degree, we're like, we have to allow a certain amount of chaos to exist because that's what makes these things organic. It's what makes these things so much fun. And Cody represents that. By having Cody around, it's like we know that if we tell Cody, hey, do this, he won't do that. He's going to go do whatever Cody's going to do. So as long as he's being safe and as long as he's like being himself, we basically give Cody like, here's a handful of stuff, go. And we just let Cody do his thing. And he is, to a degree, like he represents that chaos in the things that we're investing our time in. So super good guy to have around. We should ask, can we ask a question and have people answer it in the comments?
Yeah, why don't we do that? Let's why don't we do this? Let's start with answering a few questions. I'll have some people list some questions below because we have a super chat here. And let's go 2 minutes on questions and then we can ask the crowd a question. Jeffrey Chambers, Herrera collab. Man, we've done Brandon Herrera collabs in the past. In fact, we just watched his 2019 video. Brandon is a super famous guy these days, but in the past, man, he did us a lot of favors. He helped us with some promotion for KB19. He showed up. He also showed up again for Kalash Bash 2020. He's been present at a lot of these things. Couldn't ask any more of the guy. The guy has always been very nice, polite, easy to work with. But man, he's on a whole nother level now. And I wish him all the best. That dude's crushing the game right now. But we've done collabs. Happy to do more if they ever happen. All right, Tony, let's see. What's better for you? AKU, this is great for Tony. 74S, little crink, or a Bulgarian SF, both in 762 by 39.
I'm not sure I understand the question here. I've always been a fan. So with AKs, okay, if you were to look at the guns that I have acquired in AKs and you laid them all out, you would start to see a theme. Number one, triangle stocks. I'm a huge fan of triangle side folding stocks, but in general, folding stocks. I've never really been like a huge fixed stock on any gun. So like our FALs, our Galils, our SIG 551s, it's all folding stocks. So on an AK, you can't beat a triangle side folder for me. As far as the round, I've always been a fan of 7.62. I like 5.45 guns too, and I have a ton of them. But I've got 7.62 guns. Like I've got a 7.62 Crink that is an absolute laser at 100 yards, and it shoots better than our 5.45 guns. So it's dope.
Right. Favorite surplus camo? Ooh, dude, I'm gonna have to go with Baby Poop Rhodesian camo. That's the first thing that popped into my head.
Mm-hmm.
Clayco, Sam 5 or PSA AK 556 for K Bash? Dude, for me, Sam 5 is peak 556 AK. Should I build a 12.5 556 AK or buy a 13-inch Galil 556? It's a tough one. You're probably going to have about the same money in both. I would go AK. If you don't have one NATO AK, you should have one.
If you're talking about a Galil Ace, they're pretty fucking awesome guns.
They are. I've got one. I love it, but I like my AKs better.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Does AK Union ever come to Kalash Bash? They have not yet. Let's see here. Oh my gosh, there's so many questions. A lot of 5.56 AK questions. Let's change it up just a little bit. Let's do a couple more questions, and I think Tony has a question for all of you. Tony, do you have a favorite 7.62 ammo besides what's cheapest, which is my answer?
Whatever's cheapest, but if I had to pick one in that group of the cheap ones, we like that Wolf military. What is it, Clay?
Military standard.
Military standard, yeah.
If money was no issue,
the best, I think, so far, reliability wise.
Yeah. If money was no issue, I like lacquer coated 7.62. If I had to choose, non-lacquer coated ammo, just more difficult to load, doesn't work with Potovox well. So I would say like just some nice Barnall lacquer coated ammo, something with like, oh man, I don't know. We're never getting the Silver Bear, Golden Bear. We're never getting any of that back. But if that stuff was still available, that was some good shit.
Clay, I would say, how much ammo do you think you and I go through? And when I say you and I really mean you, because you do most of the shooting. But between the three of us, you, me, Rachel, how many rounds do you think we put down range?
This is one of the biggest. This is one of the biggest thing. This is something everyone exaggerates. Just bought my AK, 5,000 rounds, no issues. Everyone exaggerates about round count. I can tell you honestly, and I'd hate to admit it because it's a lot of money. But dude, just filming videos, shooting competitions, just going out training for videos and competitions, shooting with Tony, shooting with Rachel,
mag dumping machine guns.
Giving free mag dumps away all the time at the range. I know a lot of people in the comments have probably shot their first machine gun because of us. Dude, in a year's time, I'm gonna be conservative here. The lowest, 10,000 upwards to 25,000 rounds between the three of us. And honestly, it's probably more, but I feel safe somewhere in there.
Yeah, I was gonna say between 15 and 20,000 rounds a year is probably, that's just us on cruise control, you know. But it could go up exponentially if we decided to do another event, you know, in a year. But the reason why I asked that question is because in that's 1 year, right? In multiple years, have we really experienced ammo issues ever, with the exception of that 545 ammo? But on 7.62, have we really ever experienced issues with any brand of ammo?
Shooting the amount of ammo I have shot since I started shooting AKs has killed every steel case myth being dirt cheap, crappy ammo that I've ever heard. I don't believe in any of those myths anymore. Dude, I've never had, I mean, I have to really sit here and think that I've had ammo related issues.
Right.
It's just, don't believe the hype when people tell you don't buy steel case ammo. Maybe it doesn't run in your AR. Probably doesn't run because it's not your AR needs, you know, gassy rounds like NATO rounds. A lot of not silver barrel. A lot of steel case ammo is underpowered, so it causes some guns to short stroke. AKs are really overgassed, so the ammo can be underpowered and still work. Never had issues. I don't hesitate at all, dude. I haven't bought a brass case round, and I can't remember. If there's nothing else available and I had to buy brass, I've had to do it. But I go out of my way to not buy brass, ever. The amount of rounds we shoot makes no sense to buy brass. We get no benefit out of it. There's no huge difference in my mind to pay $1 a round in today's market than to pay 30 cents a round to get steel case. There's no reason. Not with what I do. I get no benefit from brass case.
So we've shot an incredible amount of ammo. I would say probably since the day we started doing events to today. I mean, just at Kalash Bash alone last year, I think we collectively, all the vendors, sent 100,000 rounds downrange. There's just so much ammo that we've gone through, and very, very little ammo problems. So just some food for thought. The cheap 7.62s worked really well for us.
How do you like your Galil machine guns? Freaking love them. Oh my God, they're so awesome. I freaking love ARMs and SARs. And we have a Hunter 7.62 that you guys haven't really seen much. Holy crap, those things are dope. I freaking love Galils.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the 5.56 ARM and the 7.62 Norinco Hunter conversion are my favorite between all the Galils.
PKM or RPK RPD? Between the three, Dream Gun, RPD.
PKM. Are you fucking out of your mind?
Hey, RPD is pretty freaking dope. Everyone's got a PKM. Cool. No one's got RPDs.
They're cool. The PKM is like, I'm mounting that shit to the roof of my truck and driving around. Like, that's pretty insane.
Tony, you could probably answer this because you bought one. Where can one find a factory Polish military trigger? You bought one for one of your barrels. Do you remember where you got it? Was it AOA?
I didn't buy the trigger. I bought the gun.
But in a bag you had a factory Polish trigger that we installed. I don't know where you got it.
I think what happened was when they put the US trigger in, they just sent it with the original trigger pack. So I didn't pay extra for that. But your best bet, if I was you, would be to either reach out to AOA or Atlantic Firearms, since they're the ones importing these, and see if they are selling the original trigger separate. That's probably your best bet. Or on the secondhand market, maybe someone who has that original trigger set doesn't want it and they're willing to sell it.
Okay. One more question. This is a good one. And then save your questions. If we didn't get to them, ask them again later.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever needed to change the barrel out? Now, that's a great question, knowing how much ammo we shoot. Me, I've never shot a barrel out. And I shoot the piss out of my AKs. Granted, the machine guns are kind of a different story, but I still have not shot a barrel out yet.
We have two machine guns that are probably due for a rebarrel. One of them is our 5.45 Crink. We are starting to have keyholing out of that gun, but we don't do anything with it other than bullet hosing, so we really don't care. And then we do have a Yugo M72 that has the original sewer pipe barrel in it, and it completely swallows a bullet in the bullet test. But again, it's just a gun for hosing. So we'll change the barrel out when we feel like it, but it's not like critical.
And the Crink is probably, maybe next to the Mahdi, it's probably the one AK that's been ridden the absolute hardest.
Right.
It has had a ton of rounds put through it. and we still haven't changed the barrel. That was a brand new gun when we started, factory SBR, and still going strong. I bet you it's still accurate enough to get through a match or whatever we would want it to do for the next year or two.
Right. Yeah, I think we probably put 30,000 rounds of full auto and really abuse that gun. We don't clean it, so 30,000 rounds, we're starting to have keyhole.
Okay, so let's save our questions. Tony, you wanted to ask the commenters a question, and then after that, we're going to get into our next video.
So my question is going to be one of my big objectives and one of my big goals, just personally, for growing my brands and for interacting with you all, is I want to make guns like more of a mainstream type thing. And I think that the gun community, sometimes we're guilty of kind of alienating ourselves and kind of putting ourselves in the corner and kind of isolating ourselves from the rest of the world. And to me, ideally, I'd love to see people who maybe are more casual about the way they own guns. Maybe they're not invested 24 hours in the forums, but they still own guns. It's still like a normal way of life for them. And so to me, and with Clay, been just kind of very focused on how do we create gun content and how do we present guns in a way that we don't look like weirdos shooting guns. We look like normal people. How do we get more normal people involved in the gun community? So one of my questions is, since we're on YouTube, for those of y'all who would like to leave a comment, my question is, what is your favorite non-firearm YouTube channel that you like to watch content?
Great question. Can I go first?
Yes.
This is going to be kind of a cop-out. Dude, I would say out of 100% of what I subscribe to, gun content, maybe 10% of it on YouTube. Mm-hmm. I love car videos. And bro, I watch anything Cletus McFarland puts out. He catches me hook, line, and sinker. I absolutely love his channel. I love that he's an entrepreneur. I love his drive, his ability to keep me entertained. I watch 100% of all of his videos. That video has it for me, man. If I wasn't into guns, I'd probably be doing nothing but car stuff, and I love his channel.
Right. Yeah. Car content is a good vertical to firearms. So I'm sure a lot of these big gun YouTube channels are seeing the data, and they're very aware of this. And it's probably like car stuff, video games are probably the two big verticals to firearms. And just to clarify, I do see some people commenting, they're like, what's normal? What I'm simply pointing out is just like popular culture, right? So I think that, there's just a lot of, people are very like black and white about things. Like you're either yes or no on a lot of types of things. And, to me, I've been involved with guns for like 15 years. And I have, we shoot machine guns. We buy ammo by the pallet. So we're all kind of on the extreme end of gun ownership. Clay and I, it takes a lot for us to really be like excited or to be surprised by something because we've seen so much and because we're exposed, to so much. But on the other end of the spectrum, you have people who they're involved in photography or cars or video games or whatever it is. And gun ownership just might be a little bit different for them. And so we're just really trying to focus on attracting people all over that spectrum to come out and enjoy guns and not feel like it has to be your full-time hobby. It could be a part-time hobby and you can still come out and enjoy guns and stuff like that. So I agree with you, Clay. I love Cletus. I like Donut Media. I watch a lot of that. And those are probably the two I spend the most time watching. I've been watching a lot of jiu-jitsu content on YouTube with my daughter because she's in jiu-jitsu. So I see someone mention the Jocko podcast. I like watching his podcast as well as Rogan and some of the other ones out there. And I like watching Nelk, the Full Send, podcast. Those guys are pretty freaking hilarious.
I see. I even paid for Cletus's pay-per-view yesterday. Someone asked if I was watching the races. My man's even selling freaking pay-per-views to his events. I am totally inspired by what that guy does. Yes, I watched the races. Dude, honestly, most of the comments, I think it's at least 75% car content. And we've always said, man, like a lot of gun guys and gals, it's a lot of these people are into cars. It's such an easy vertical to be into. Couldn't have said it better myself. Alex Jones mentioned a couple times. I do like a lot of podcasts. I do like without getting into politics, I like some of the kind of the homegrown, self-funded news channels. I like watching Alex Jones. I like watching Louder with Crowder, things like that. I am into that too. Not all the time, but I do check in. Joe Rogan's podcast, I pop in from time to time. I love VinWiki. I think I turned Tony onto VinWiki. Dude's just sitting talking about car stories, man. So interesting. Just hearing all the stuff that happens in the background with buying and selling cars. Kind of like this, the gun stuff or event stuff. I'm really interested in how a lot of these dudes pull a lot of this stuff together. So I seek out that type of content. I want to know what goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of really good comments. Thank you all very much for sharing. I love food YouTube channels too. I saw someone mentioned Gordon Ramsay. There's probably like 3 or 4 recipes that are in like regular rotation in my house that were inspired by watching either Gordon Ramsay or Alton Brown or like some like the really cool chefs out there that did TV shows and stuff like that. I saw someone mention drone content. The drones, the 4K footage coming out of drones. I mean, imagine like we never really got to see the world from the perspective of a drone until recently. And there's some beautiful places in the world, that are out there that are worth, going and checking out.
Yeah, YouTube's so cool for living vicariously through others that do hobbies that you'll never get into. This is a good one here, Ghost Town Living. You may have seen some of his videos. He's just a young guy that bought an abandoned mining town in California, and he just sort of lives out there alone, and he kind of rebuilds some of the old shacks and buildings, and he's making it into a resort like on his own. And that sort of got me into like watching these dudes. They'll buy a piece of land, they'll go out and homestead it, and they're like, it's just like an hour-long video, supercut of them building a house, like a little shed that runs on solar power, and they like live through the winter in it, and then the video's over. I can't get in, like I will just binge watch videos like that. And like I say, living vicariously through others, there's nothing wrong with that when it's stuff that that you'll never do. Like I'm not going to go build a cabin in the woods and live in it, but it is sure a fun thing to think about. I'm not going to buy Ghost Town and rebuild it, but man, what a cool thing to think about and watch. And I'm glad that YouTube provides a place to watch stuff like that. And certainly car stuff. Never going to do a lot of that cool car stuff, but man, love watching people do it.
All right, well then I got another question. Let's follow up on this. So I'm going to kind of put you on the spot here, Clay, and I want to hear, I'm assuming that the majority of the people watching here are Clayco47 subscribers, and they have, a lot of these people have got to watch you evolve over the years. And so I've been talking with Clay for the past couple of years. Hey, would you ever be interested in branching out and dabbling in creating content in one of these other verticals, whether it's like, cars, camping, photography, whatever it is. And Clay indicated to me that in a previous life, he was really into Jeeps, really into cars and doing stuff like that. And so I took him on a team building adventure, and him and I went and we drifted cars. We went to drift driving school in San Antonio. And it was like a private thing. Him and I went and we got to like drift drive these like Nissan 350Zs. It was a shitload of fun. It was a lot of fun. But how many of y'all would love to see the possibility in the future of Clay and I doing something cool with cars, whether it's building a race car, it could be like a drift car, it could be building, like he's into Mustangs, he's into Jeeps. How many of y'all would stick around and follow an alternate channel if Clay decided that he wanted to get into something vehicle related? Just curious.
Not that I have time for it, but we've talked about it.
I want to see Clay review strip clubs. Dude. What a hilarious idea for a channel.
Wait, did someone comment that?
I want to see Clay review strip clubs. Like, how hilarious would that look?
I just heard Rachel scream from the living room. She's like, nope, shut up.
Like, can you imagine just walking in the front door? I'm just here to do a review. Like, we're good. You're sitting there, like, talking, doing your, your selfie with your camera pointed at yourself. Like, you got a fat ass in your face. That would just
paying for a lap dance, taking notes.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so funny. Oh, gosh.
All right. Sorry, Rachel. Let me get rid of that.
Oh, that was a great comment. Thank you for that.
So while we're on the subject of cars, you have a couple of interesting toys. I've got one. I have to tell the story about, this is such a good story. Now that you got, and we won't stay on this topic too long. Tony and I are big on cars. I got a little Fox body. I've always had Fox body Mustangs and Jeeps and Cherokees and rock crawling. That used to be a big part of my life. Still have a Fox body in the garage. Tony is a big LS, F-body Firebird guy. So after me and Tony started working together, he bought a super sick Firebird, black on black, just a rad beast. Well, there was a guy. What was the dude's name? His drift channel, was it Kenny Slides?
Yeah, Kenny Slides.
There was a guy named Kenny Slides whose claim to fame was he used to take late model Firebirds. Well, he had one and virtually made all of his own drift components. And this dude was taking a full interior, full body car with like an LS, I think it's got an LS3, and just doing the gnarliest drifting anyone's ever seen with this super sick purple late model Firebird. Well, one day this dude decides to raffle the thing off. How much were tickets? $150 a piece?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, maybe 150, $200. I don't remember.
This car's got to be worth, I don't know, 30K something. And this happened several years ago. So Tony calls me late one night. He's been out drinking, and he goes, "Dude, did you see the link? Did you see the link that I sent you?" I'm like, "No, dude." I look at the link, and it's some dude like drifting this Firebird, and it's a super clean purple Firebird. And I'm like, "Cool." He's like, "You saw it, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "I just fucking won that car." I'm like, "What?" I'm looking at the video and I see like the dude's doing this big raffle, right? He's selling a bunch of tickets to it for like $150 a piece. And Tony's like, "Oh my God, I won it. I'm at the bar." Like he's been drinking. He's just losing his shit on the phone. And now like I'm losing my shit. I'm like, "Are you freaking serious?" Like I'm so happy for him. I'm so excited.
I put a picture of it on my share screen if you want to pull a picture of this car.
I don't see it down below yet.
No.
So anyway, I'm flipping out. I'm like, holy crap. He just like, I'm thinking, what are we going to do? Like, it's a free freaking car, right? This super gnarly freaking drift machine, right? So, anyway, long story short, we freaking hype up all night about this. I call my dad. I'm like telling all my homies that are into cars, like, Tony just won a freaking drift car, dude. That's it right there. Won this thing, right? Anyway, the next morning he calls me and he goes, and he's clearly hungover. He goes, "Hey, so I didn't actually win the car." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Well, I bought the ticket, and then the guy texted me and he was like, 'You got it.' He was really just telling me that he got my money and the ticket purchase was all good." And then I flipped out and told everyone at a bar all night that I won this car, and I'm like buying people drinks and shit and just losing my mind. I'm like, "Bro, you know how many people I called and told that you won this car?" Anyway, so he doesn't win it. Bro, like
Dude, I was on
later,
a date. I was on a date, and I completely ruined the fucking date because I look at my phone and I'm like, "Holy shit, I want a car." I'm like in the bathroom on the phone with you, and like the people in the bathroom can hear me. They're like, "You want a car?" I'm like, "I fucking want a car. Fuck you all. Fuck you all."
Just jamming. So,
Dude,
bro,
the date was ruined. She was like, "Cool, man."
all that had happened was the guy was just confirming Tony's purchase, and he's like, "What?" So, bro, fast forward, a week goes by. He bought ticket 47, AK-47. A week goes by, his freaking ticket got pulled, and he won the car anyway.
Mm-hmm.
After making a total bonehead out of himself a week before, wins the freaking car a week later. I call everyone again, and I'm like, the story's so much better now. He actually won the freaking thing. This is the dopest, dude. This car is gnarly. Way too much car.
If you have a chance to pull up a very quick YouTube video on Kenny Slides, just so people can see how stupid insane this car is. But guys, Clay's right. I when I bought my raffle ticket, I picked raffle ticket number 47. That was my lucky number. And I made the mistake of thinking that I won the car, and I made an ass out of myself. And everybody, they were roasting me for days. Like, "Hey man, how's that new car?" And anyways, about a week or two later goes by, and the owner of the car did the drawing, and he drew number 47 to win the car, and that was me. The guy that tunes my cars saw it. I wasn't even on Facebook. I wasn't even paying attention, but he saw it, and he sent me a screenshot, and he said, "Bro, is this you?" And I looked, sure enough. So I ended up winning this car. So I have for the time right now, I have my black Firebird that I bought, and then I have this one. It's called the Freedom Bird. the guy, his YouTube channel is Kenny Slides. I won that car and I paid about $200 for it. This was him at the freedom track.
Thing is gnarly, dude. It has full interior, stick shift.
It's a fully built car. So for those of y'all who are like, gun nerds, it's a stroked LS3, fully built rear end, stage 2 transmission. It makes about 500 horsepower. And the guy welded up the front knuckles so he gets more angle to do drifting out of them, since they don't make drift kits for those cars. The car is stupid insane, and Clay's driven it.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of car. Coming from it, dude, I grew up around drag racing. My dad still to this day street races, even though he's rolled a car not too long ago and really should give all this stuff up. Still does it. I've always been around this stuff. I did a little drag racing myself back in the day. Tried to make it on an episode of Pinks. Dad's been on 2 episodes of Pinks. Some of you older guys in the comments, I'm sure you remember the show on the Speed channel. So this is super exciting for me to think that, look at that. Sparko wheel, it's Momo wheel, super like full interior car. And this dude is doing some pretty gnarly stuff with it, but yeah.
So let me go ahead and just make a proposal and make this public. So everybody knows that I am proposing this to you, Clay. I know that time is a thing, right? But time is a thing. That's all it is, right? Mm-hmm. We can make time and we can figure it out. But I would propose to you that within the next 2 years, that you and I explore the possibility of either doing something like Overland, since you're into Jeeps and you're doing all that shit, or let's go to the auction and let's go buy like an Infiniti G37 or something with some front end damage that's been clipped, or maybe even like a Z06 Corvette, and let's freaking build a fucking drift car and let's just do it.
I will say, right? Out of everything I've done drag racing at a pretty high level, rock crawling, mudding, all the stuff. I've had 2 Jeeps, both with long arm 6-inch kits. We've built a lot of Jeeps, a lot of Samurais, tons of off-road rigs. The funnest I have ever having driving a vehicle was at that drift school. Done it all, dude. Street racing, drag racing, rock crawling. I can't think of a day where I had more fun. When we finally learned how to drift, how to clutch kick, everything, kind of the science to it. When he let us go on our own and we were like freaking doing it. Granted, it had rained that day, so we kind of felt like superheroes because the ground was wet. That was the funnest day. I wished in that moment, I was like, okay, if I didn't love guns so much and I had all this disposable income, I would be buying some little 240, something cheap. A Fox body would be dope. Make a drift car and just go. It's
got to be like American Muscle. It's got to be something that can put 400, 450 horsepower, because I think the G35s, the 350Zs, I think that it's like, I think you kind of outgrow that amount of power relatively quickly, right? Yeah. But yeah, I'll agree with you. When he let us move over from the wet pavement over to the dry pavement, and we went from like, kind of drifting, cones at like 15, 20 miles an hour, and we're like hitting these shits at like 40, 50 miles an hour.
Dude, he was making us get in like really second and third gear. Like the first half of the day was like first gear on wet pavement. And I was like, this shit's easy. And we, easy stuff. Then we got on a drive pavement, getting into second and third gear, really picking up some wheel speed. It was very hard. But man, when we kind of did those slaloms, busted around in that J turn and did all that crazy shit. And then I think he ended the day with us drifting into a parking spot. Bro, when we finally did it, I was like, I came away thinking anyone that can drift and drift well, they're probably some of the best drivers on the planet. You have to have so much control over the car, over everything. You're driving with your freaking feet. The steering wheel, you're not even doing much with. You are honestly modulating throttle, drifting. It was the coolest thing. If you learn how to drift, take one drifting class. Know how to drive stick. One of the students came into the class not knowing how to drive stick. That was terrible.
Right.
Go take a drifting class. I'm telling you, so much of my daily driving life, I feel so much more like I felt like I could drive my way out of anything after taking a drift school. It was that beneficial.
Well, I appreciate that y'all let us venture outside of our normal conversation about guns. And I just want y'all to hold this guy accountable and say, remember that time Tony proposed that y'all do something really cool? Like, dude, I'm totally down. If you want to go get a Forerunner and build it into some like legit fucking thing, we'll do your project first and then we'll do my project the second time around. I'm cool with that. But
stuff's
I'm ready
expensive
to
right
start
now.
diversifying our content creation and doing something really cool in another category. So, and fishing
we
is
will.
also another big one that I'd like to get into. I think if we get a boat and go out, we could do some really cool shit with fishing.
Fishing's dope. All right. I think we need to pump the brakes. Let's get back into this this AK thing that we started all this live stuff about. Why don't we get into our second to last video, and then we'll hit the comments section and answer some questions. Thank you guys for sticking around. We held strong at like 200 people for a long time. We're hovering at about 150 people, still hanging in there. We're deep into our second hour. Let's check out the next video. A little bit of background. This video was last year. KB21, this is a video that Magpul put together for us. I didn't even know that they were going to make this video. Josh Freilich is the guy that you're going to see narrating this. If you don't know who that is, he's a highly decorated competition shooter, content creator. He hosts a lot of class on how to shoot competitively. He's an avid hunter and just a great guy all around. And he, with Magpul, put this video together. And what was so dope, we were walking around at SHOT Show and we were at the Magpul booth, and I was like, hey, that's freaking Kalash Bash at the Magpul booth. And they were playing a video of our event at their booth. And I was like, we made it. Anyway, here it freaking goes.
That was a pretty cool experience to see that at SHOT Show.
That was dope.
I'm Josh Freilich, and we're down here at Kalash Bash, Texas, racing AKs and hanging out with AK people. So it's one of the unique places in the country that you can, one, be a participant, you can actually drag race your AK, and two, you can come out and just be part of the community because you can buy a spectator ticket as well. So we're bringing lots of people together to enjoy the AK platform, and it's unique here in the USA. Yeah, I love the AK platform because it brings people together, right? We've got guys like me that shoot, pull triggers every day. That's part of what we do for a living. We've got folks that are just enthusiasts that got their first AK, long ago, and they love plinking with their buddies and everything in between, right? And so it brings this whole different crew out. Typically we've got tactical people, we've got hunters, we've got, some of the folks that like to sport shoot. And this is actually a whole nother segment that doesn't necessarily participate in a lot of those. Some of them do, some of them don't. But it's great to just reach out and be part of the larger gun community.
So we're at Kalash Bash 2021, hanging out with a bunch of great AK enthusiasts. The IWI booth will have some machine guns for some of our customers to try out and get a chance to check out something they don't normally get to play with. I think the AK community is unique, especially the people that come out to these matches. The AK platform is definitely a unique platform. You can't just plug and play certain things. There's a lot of fitting and there's a lot of going out of your way to get that platform the way you want. So when I come out here, everything I see is unique. It's somebody's own flavor and twist to an amazing platform. So I get to see a lot of my friends that I've met through work that have come out to the event. A lot of networking through people that I've met through social media. So it's one giant party of getting to see and meet people that you've only talked to every once in a while. Not one AK is the same as the next one. No matter what quality control there is, every AK is unique in its own way.
That is true. You will not see a single AK, especially what comes out for the match. People's own AKs, not a single one will be like the other, which is kind of one thing that makes AKs so cool. People can really put their heart and soul into one, whether it be a piece of trench art that has some Romanian dude's girlfriend's name carved on that's been there since the 90s, to putting a little goon tape on the grip, to special gunsmithing that you thought of that no one else has really thought of. Maybe you got handy with a Dremel. You're going to see a lot of variety at Kalash Bash when it comes to the match, for people bringing their own guns. And the vendors really bring out some special stuff that they don't really show all year long in preparation for Kalash Bash, to show you guys some new stuff they've been working on in the skunk works in the back room. There's a lot of that.
I want to share an interesting metric with y'all about Kalash Bash. So what you just saw was a video that was pretty much filmed and prepared by Josh Freilich. He was the guy at the very beginning of the video. He's like a very, very seasoned professional competition shooter. The guy owns several companies, got a media company, he's got a training company. He's sponsored by the best of the best. If you were to take a dart and throw it at practice score and pick any random major match out there in the country that has more than 100 people, you'll most likely see guys like him running and probably account for like 90% of the shooters in these matches. But at Kalash Bash, those guys account for a very small percentage. We have 300 shooters. Let's just round it to 300. We're going to have 300 shooters in the match. And I would argue very easily that somewhere around 250 to 270 of those shooters are like average dudes. They're not like running a match every weekend. They're not jerseyed, sponsored shooters. They're just regular dudes that want to go out, LARP it up, bring their Polytech Legend out of the back of the safe, or maybe they want to run, their Zenit code out, rifle with the optics and all that, whatever it is. They're LARPed out in like all the gear. And I think that's like one of the coolest things about Kalash Bash is that we are technically considered a major match. Would you say the same, Clay?
Sheer numbers wise, 275 shooters is something that you would see at like 3-gun nationals. That's not a common number that anyone pulls. It's a huge match. Numbers wise, yes.
Right. So we're basically up there at the top, as far as like the volume of people that we run through our match. But I would also argue we are the only match in the country of this kind where the majority of the audience is just like regular fucking dudes, like just having a good time, vibing it out with their homies. That's pretty freaking awesome. Hats off to y'all.
Totally true. Super Geo Killer, great idea. I was just thinking about this watching Cletus McFarland broadcast his event live on pay-per-view. I'm like, man, I wish there was a way, if people couldn't be at Kalash Bash, they could still see the whole thing. Like if we had some correspondent walking around, interviewing people, just filming things. Oh, dude, it would be so cool. That's a major undertaking. I don't know if we're there yet this year, but I don't want to say no because I love the idea. And I'm sure there's a way to make something like that happen where if you absolutely couldn't be there, if you live in another country, you could watch it. Speaking of living in another country, we actually have a guy traveling from freaking Germany to get here. I've been in constant communication with him.
He's volunteering.
So we have a lot of people.
See him at check-in on Saturday, I think. He's running the check-in booth with a couple
His name is Pascal. He's German. Cool thing about Pascal, he... interesting story. I know times are tough here in this country. Gas is more expensive than it has ever been. Travel's expensive. A lot of people just cannot go to Kalash Bash or any event right now unless it's like within 5 hours. Some people just can't drive 20 hours or buy plane tickets to be here. We totally sympathize. But to know that there's a guy that is moving mountains to be here from Germany. He has a connecting flight in London. He's got like a half-hour taxi ride from one airport to another airport in London. He's got to jump on another flight there, land in Dallas, take another flight down to Houston just to get here, and he's doing it. Hats off to that guy. That dude is really making it happen. So I do get it. I know it's tough to come to these events. It's a financial commitment, but at the end of the day, we're all going to be old one day. Well, some of us have kids, some don't, but we're all going to be at an age and a time in our lives where we can't do this kind of stuff anymore. And we're going to look back and go, man, I probably should have went to that. I probably should have just experienced that at least one time. I regret that I didn't. And I feel that way every time I go to Red October. I felt that way when I went to Kalashnikon. I'm like, damn, I wish I never missed a Kalashnikon in the past. Like, these events are so much freaking fun. It's expensive, but I like to invest in memories, man. And it was money well spent, in my opinion.
Hey, are we at any point in this live stream, Clay, prepared to do a plug for Third Pin? Just curious.
Abso-freaking-lutely. Let's do it right now.
All right. So one thing for Clay, I'll just speak on his behalf, is he's asked me like on several occasions, like, hey, I noticed a lot of gun tubers, they have Patreon. Like they have these like things where people basically pay to create content. And he's like, I know that there's a lot of people who do that, but I think Clay's kind of always battled with the idea of like, why would I ask people to pay me just to make content? And the opportunity for me, I started a company called Third Pin Threads a couple years ago, trying to sell just like some really cool like AK shirts and hats. And I saw the opportunity to reach out to Clay and say, hey, I'd love for you to be a part of this, you know, at ownership level. And so recently Clay became a business partner of mine in this venture. We call it Third Pin Threads. And we basically make hats and shirts. And one of the things that Clay always says, and I appreciate that he says it this way, is that if you want to support his channel, Clayco47, or if you want to support the cause or any of our brands out there, you can do so in a way that actually gets you something in return. And that's by going to thirdpinthreads.com. We have a ton of shirts on the way. Like in the next 2 weeks, we should have 7 new shirts on the website. But right now we do have hats, similar to kind of like what you see right here. Clay and I wear them all over the freaking place. And we're doing a Labor Day sale. So if you go to either Khyber Customs, which is my website that sells AK parts, or if you go to Third Pin Threads right here, boop, which is our apparel website, we're doing a promo right now for Labor Day. Check these out. We had these really cool stickers made. We've got the 40 round steel magazine.
All the mags in the background that you're seeing, those are basically the stickers you're getting at Third Pin right now.
40 round Bakelite, 40 round waffle. We've got the Khyber Customs slap, as well as the Kalash Bash Texas. One thing about Clay and I is like, we've never really thought like, should we sell stickers? And we were like, why don't we just have a bunch of stickers made and just give them away for free when people buy shit? So if you go to Third Pin Threads or Khyber Customs through tomorrow, any order you place, we're going to hook you up with all the extra stickers that you need to throw all over your toolbox or your magazines or whatever it is you stick them on. Our swag game, I think, is like pretty hardcore compared to most places. We hook up the swag pretty good.
In case you guys didn't know it, there you go. Free swag, Labor Day sale. Khyber Customs is a great place to get a lot of different stuff. Furniture sets back in the day, but you know, when the wood grips come back, that'll be super sick. Firing tin retainer plates, safeties, many different solutions for optic mounting. Of course, the tried and true freaking cheese grater, what Tony is known best for, what he really started back in the old AK Files days, selling these freaking cheese graters, man. I found out about Tony watching an AKOU video years ago because he put a cheese grater on a gun. I couldn't even tell you what year it was. And I thought, that looks pretty freaking neat. Yeah. And I bought one. I think I bought one with one of your Russian surplus sets that you were selling back in the day, which is actually how we kind of met. We were at a range one day, one of our AK Files meets, and you were like, nice cheese grater. I was like, yeah, it's Khyber Customs. And you were like, yeah, man, I appreciate the business. I was like, that's you? He's like, yeah. I'm like, you're local? He says, yeah. And that's
that was
literally how
story.
we met. I was like, my buddy Chris, I was like, Chris, that's the guy, the Khyber Custom guy. This is the dude. He's like, that guy? I'm like, that's the guy. That's how we met.
Hey, Clay, if you would so kindly, someone's asking about patches. If you scroll to the top where it says AK Slings and Swag, up on the top bar.
Yep.
No, up on the top where it says AK Slings and Swag. There you go. Go to patches, and someone was asking about patches. We do make patches, and right now I think they're on sale for the Labor Day sale. But you can see we've got like Krinkoffs, 105s, Khyber Pass. And we're actually going to have probably like another 5 to 10 new patches coming out before the end of the year too. So we're going to probably do these patches over on Third Pin as well. So either website will have the same patches available.
They are freaking cool, man. Well, guys, I want to get to the comments. I know you guys have been asking a ton of questions. We have one more video. I know this stream's gone a little long in the tooth. We're almost at 2 hours. We still have 140 of you guys in here. Thank you so much. We have one more video that we want to watch with you all, but I definitely want to get to some more of these questions. So now's the time. Start dropping them. We're paying attention now. Let's see.
By the way, Clay told me yesterday, he's like, by the way, YouTube, we can't handle guns on live streams. So for some of y'all that are watching, if you're wondering, why the hell aren't these guys playing with guns? Apparently, YouTube's got this thing on a live stream. If we do that, they will slap our peepees. So that's why we're not doing it.
And I don't know why, Like, I can post a gun video where I'm showing you how to take it apart and put it back together. I can't even touch a gun on a live stream. I could literally, the wall could be filled with guns. He's got a Russian SKS sitting right behind him. There could be guns everywhere. We are not allowed to touch them on a live stream. I can't. It's something I'll never fully understand, but that's the rule. Can't freaking
Perhaps
play with
because there's shit you can do in a live stream that they don't have a chance to review first.
That has to be what it is. They don't,
Right.
I guess to stop. I'm not even going to say what might happen on a live stream, but probably to stop stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Tony, if you even know, in your opinion, what's like a good AK build class to take? Do you know of any good ones?
I know that Rifle Dynamics has been pretty consistent about doing build classes. I think if you are wanting something a little more personalized and you're wanting something that you can really kind of like say like down the road that you can like maybe leverage as an upsell or a value add to your company, Jim Fuller does do private build classes as well.
It's like bucket list stuff.
Right. I think, Clay, we need to probably go do that one,
Yep.
While he's doing it. And we talked about this in the past. I've got the parts kits and everything. Let's just fucking do it.
Honestly, like guys like Lee Armory, I know they do it. They're honestly, any gun builder out there, the M13s, the CWs, a lot of these guys, they'll just sort of do impromptu build classes. They don't really promote them all the time. So best thing to do is probably ask. If there's a gunsmith you had in mind, ask. They might do a one-on-one class. Daniel Fisher, I would love to take a one-on-one build class with him.
Yeah.
So that's probably the best bet.
It would be cool, like if guys like Daniel Fisher did one, not simply for the sake of like being a revenue driver for him, but just to say, like, if you want, I mean, he would be one of those guys that's like the best of the best. If you wanted to go and learn from the best, like, Troy Sellers, right? Troy.
Yep.
I mean, right. Those guys.
In range Inc.
Right.
Is it your fault that Draco pistols are almost 1K now? Nah, man, I'm not a rap star, dude. Like it's the freaking rappers taking all those M92 Dracos and listen. You know what? Go on Spotify, type in Draco. There's got to be 100 songs with Draco in the title, and they're not country and western, so it's not me driving up the price.
We don't even really have a lot of Dracos. We have more times where we're misrepresenting a Draco than we're actually featuring a legitimate Draco.
Yeah, like we'll show an MP5K. OMG, let me holla at that Draco. Lee Armory, yeah. I would definitely trust that. My boy Mario Parada would be the one giving you that class. Love that dude. Let's see. Let's go through these quickly. Question: will there ever be multiple Kalash Bash events? If so, can you have one in North Texas? Without saying too much, we definitely want to start doing more events. The location that we have for Kalash Bash is just so damn good and accommodating, and the staff there is so hardworking. It's going to be hard to try to venture out, but never say never. We've done meet and greets at multiple ranges before in the past. We did like 4 in a year once, all over Texas, North Texas, Central, everywhere. We may do that again. But we definitely, Kalash Bash, we're not going to be like a one-shot pony, dude, or one-trick pony. We have other things in the works that are going to blow your balls off.
And if you're in North Texas, I mean, let's be serious here. Like, Kalash Bash we'll have 1,000 people out at the event. And this is an AK event, right? And we were told before we ever even tried to do this that an AK event will never draw 1,000 people out there. So the reality of it is like to imagine 1,000-person AK event, or even like a half the size of that, happening in like every, city across the U.S. is like a pretty hard thing to accomplish. And I would argue that the main reason, or one of the biggest reasons why Kalash Bash is so successful, is really because of this market. We have Houston, San Antonio, Austin, Dallas. We're basically pulling from 4 massive cities for an audience, and you wouldn't be able to really pull that off in, say, I don't know, I mean, just pick any state out there. You really need to have 4 or 5 large markets within a 3-hour drive. If you're in North Texas, you're closer than
you need to go to Kalash. If you live anywhere in Texas, you should. Kalash Bash is close enough,
right?
There are, I got to tell you, most people that go to KB are from Texas, but we got a guy coming from freaking Germany. You got no excuse if you live in Texas. So I get it.
We have multiple people that drive all the way from Florida,
all the way
to Kalash Bash
road trip
every year,
catch a flight. And hey, you know, if you don't want to fly with guns, we have general admission tickets. You don't there's no need to bring a gun unless you're shooting the match. No need to bring a gun. So what is stopping you? You could get here on the cheap. If you know how to hustle, you can travel pretty cheap. So just come to Kalash Bash, dude. Let's see. Lightning round. I'm a super weeb and I'm a gun enthusiast. Hey, you would fit right in with Mr. Meme Mags. I know he makes a lot of mags for you bad Johnnies. Awesome to see you guys into cars and drifting. Been drifting since 05. Same time I got my first AK, a $320 gun show Wasser. If you're ever in Orlando, hit me up. We do local drift days, brother.
If you're in Orlando, do you know Kenny Slides? Are you familiar with Kenny Slides? Because he's down there in Florida.
Yep. Anyone else in the stream just now noticing that Tony's name is Khyber Customs?
Isn't your name something funny too?
I believe it is. Clayco 420. The artist formerly known as Clayco 47.
Oh gosh, we need to reserve that YouTube channel for sure.
I need a builder for my PPSH 41 parts kits. We just had CW Gunworks put ours together. Check him out. He's in Florida.
I have one right here, but I can't show it on camera. But CW Gunworks and M13 Industries both have recently posted really cool content with their PPSH 41 builds.
What do you guys think of UTG AK furniture? I think it's the best. It's good. Jacob Hallmark had a great time at his class. Might be the last one he does. I think we're talking who are we talking about?
I think he's replying to Jacob. He may be talking about Fuller or Brandon's class.
Got it.
I think he's talking about Brandon. Brandon did that one class with heavy metal tactical, I think.
Oops. Is a SIG 553 or 550 AK enough to use in Kalash Bash competitions? This is something that is controversial even for me because I freaking love the 550 series. To me, it's pretty dang close to an AK. However, I have tried to bring our 550 to numerous AK events, and they've all given the same answer that, you know, the guys that host our match give. It's just a little too far removed to bring to an AK match. However, if Tony and I do start doing other events, you will absolutely be allowed to bring it to those events. But hey, I feel your pain, dude. I want to shoot our 551 at an AK match tomorrow. I'm dying to bring that thing to a match. It's cool that you have one of those, though. I feel like you're low-key flexing on us, asking if you can bring your shorty 553 to an AK match. I feel like you knew the answer to that question. You're just flexing on us.
We love those guns, and we've got several of them. Probably within the next few weeks, we'll have 3 full auto SIG 55. We got a 551, a 556R full auto, and then we're doing a shorty 553 clone. And like Clay said, we've inquired with other matches, can we bring these? And they won't let us. So
yeah,
we're probably just gonna have to do our own match where those guns are allowed. What do you think, Clay?
Let's do a match where it's only SIG 550s, and maybe we get like 5 people to show up. Maybe we should get Jesus Castro and Kalashnikov at K-Bash. Did Kalashnikov come out last year?
Yeah, they were out last year.
So yeah, he's been there before. SIG 550 is pure sex. Absolutely. God, those guns are so good. So good. All right, let's do a few more questions here, and we'll get into our last video of the night.
Hey, I think we owe a big shout out to all the people in the comments and all the people who tuned in tonight. I mean, 150 plus people. This is the biggest audience we've had in a single live stream. I think y'all deserve a golf clap. Thank y'all very much for hanging out with us and making it worth our while to hang out and answer your questions and chill. So thank y'all.
Thank you very much. Would you recommend staying in Houston or a surrounding town? Houston's going to be a little bit too far away from the bash. A little bit north, you'll find 2 towns. You'll have Sealy and Columbus. One's 20 minutes this way, one's 20 minutes that way. That's where all the hotels are. Houston, You're going to be a little bit too far away.
I don't
And
think you're too far away. I mean, if you stay in Katy, you're 45 minutes to an hour, depending on if you catch any traffic. The
if that's
problem
not
is
too far.
sometimes on I-10 they've got construction and you can get fucking stuck in traffic. But
Yeah. And
like
hey,
if
you
there
know
was
what?
no traffic at all, it's 45 minutes from Katy.
You may have already thought this through, but if you haven't, I mean, have you thought about camping? Think of the money that you'll save. Think of the showers. Think of the partying, the DJ, nighttime activities, night vision, airsoft stuff. Think you're missing out on all of that. You don't get to do any of that if you stay in a hotel. Just saying. And it's all included.
This is one of my favorite questions to ask the audience, and I didn't even think about it, but someone just commented hello from California. So California. Hey, if you're still here and you're tuned in, if you'll just quickly comment below in the comments here, where are you from? I'd love to know where our audience is. When we do Kalash Bash, we know it's a lot of Texans, but I know that in these on YouTube, we got people all over the world, that are tuning in all over the country. If you would so kindly just comment below, where are you? Where are you from? We want to know who's tuning in these days.
And don't put Kazakhstan. I feel like I'm about to see 100 Kazakhstans.
Don't put your mom's house. All right. This is me off.
We have Austin, Texas, Florida. Oh my God, they're commenting so fast. Ohio, Orlando, Colorado, California, Georgia, Kansas, Montana, Virginia, Southern California, Idaho,
over.
West Texas, Denton, Texas. A lot of Texans. South
a lot
Florida.
of Florida boys. I lived in
PA.
West Palm Beach and I lived in Miami for several years. I love Florida. I'd love to get out there like once a year. Maybe we should do a Kalash Bash out there in Florida.
Oh, I see we have some assholes from Uzbekistan. A lot of, dude, Pennsylvania, some people are way up north. If you are a Texan, an 8-hour drive is a medium drive. Listen, my day job, I travel a lot. When we drove to Kalashnikon, that's 8 hours. I was like, thank God, finally a short drive to one of these matches. 8 hours is nothing. I get sent to El Paso all the time. That's nothing. When we drive like 22 hours to Las Vegas, I feel that one a little bit, but I still enjoy it. But that's definitely my threshold. Dude, anything within 10 hours, I'm there. I'm not flying. I'm driving. I'm just not afraid of the drive. I like the drive, especially if it's to a cool place and there's a lot of cool scenery.
Yeah.
Unless you're driving through like a stinky place like Louisiana. Sorry if that's where you're from. I'm there all the time. It's a stinky old place. Then maybe you fly over Louisiana.
I'm seeing a lot of comments out on the East Coast. So I see a lot of Georgia boys. I lived in Atlanta, like through high school, up in Gwinnett County. A lot of Georgia boys. I think if we did something, if we were going to go like East Coast, somewhere like Atlanta or I don't know, maybe South Carolina, North Carolina.
I think Georgia's the play, man. It's like every time I turn around,
the Florida guys can get up there pretty quick.
Every time I turn around, some dude I follow on Instagram, Georgia. Some person I met that wants to come to KB. Oh man, I got to drive all the way from Georgia. We have a lot of people that come from Coach Tuck, Georgia, Doc Hollywood, Georgia. There's so many of these dudes from that area.
And dude, when I lived there were no outdoor ranges. It was all like we went to Bullseye in Lawrenceville. It was like an indoor range. It was like if you wanted to go shoot, it was an indoor range. I think Georgia would be a fucking play. Let us know, for those of y'all on the East Coast, if we were to figure it out, which we most certainly could, but if we were to invest our time to find the right partners and do something cool out there on the East Coast, who would come out? Let's say Georgia. Georgia would probably be a good center point there. Who would come?
Yeah, I see a lot of people say like Florida. The thing about a coastal event, it does make it hard for people to travel to. If we could kind of stay central, a lot of surrounding states might find it easier to get there. Texas is just like its own freaking country, so it's pretty easy to fill up an event here in Texas.
So you have to think of it like a pilgrimage, right? It's like, Clay and I, we can't even tell you how much we spend putting on these events because it's an insane amount of money. But we know that it's the right thing to do. Like if we're going to, y'all know that the ticket price to Kalash Bash it's not $10, right? It's a pretty hefty price tag. But the reason why that is because we invest everything that a vendor gives us in prize contribution cash is dumped right back into that event. This year, we haven't announced this yet, but since we're here and all of y'all been hanging out this whole time, the value of the prize table at Kalash Bash this year is very dangerously close to 6 figures. So there's a possibility if we bring on any other vendors that our price table might exceed $100,000, and every single contribution of that ends up in the hands of the people who come to our event. So
we keep
that's
nothing.
An
We keep
insane
nothing.
return on investment when you look at it from that perspective. And there's nobody doing that. I would defy anybody here to tell Clay or tell me that there's an event in anywhere else in the country that gives away over $100,000 worth of prizes.
I think that's a good segue into the video too. That's a great point. And to answer this question from Chris, no, YouTube is definitely not my full-time job. I have a full-time job as well as doing all the other stuff. So no, sir. All right, guys, let's hold some questions. I want to get into this last video because what Tony just touched on is a great segue into it. This is a video that I'm sure a lot of you have already seen. We have a company that comes out every year, Encima Media, and they do such a good job covering the event. They ask us, you tell us where you want us to go, what do you want us to film. We give them a few key events to capture, and they do a great job. They edit it, and this is what they came up with. But what I want you to really pay attention to, the diversity in people that come out, every race, every color, every age, every gender, everything. It's everyone. It's not exclusive to any type of person. It is very eclectic, a ton of vendors. And when you do see the prize table, you'll see that these are all normal, average people winning very expensive guns and prizes, as well as people that are crushing it at the match, also winning things. But winning at the match is such a small portion of what you could actually win. The majority of everything goes away at random. We don't want you to come to Kalash Bash and feel like you need to do anything better than the guy next to you to win something. Just being there gives you just as much opportunity as that guy. So let's get into it.
And these aren't just normal, these are chill ass homies, by the way.
Sorry, I think we have slow jams in the background. Let me go ahead and take that down so we can have our full attention here. I'm sorry, I had to pause it there. If you blink, you'll miss it. This is a special Kalash Bash moment. What you guys just saw here, let me try to get at a better freeze frame here. What's going on here is literally nothing more than we're hanging out at the IWI booth, and Jeremy Gresham, who has already put like 4 Galils on the price table, he says, Clay, this is spur of the moment. I want to give away another Galil. Let's make it 5 Galils. Let's give away one right now. This was not planned. We pulled 2 people out of the crowd and literally had a foot race for an $1,800 Galil right there on the spot. This is happening all weekend long. Not just at the prize ceremony. Things like this are happening. Guns are being given away. Optics are being given away. Merch, T-shirts, accessories. I have no control over what vendors decide to do at their own booth. They will just be giving stuff away totally at random. And this is just one of those times. And this guy still has the Galil today. He's the fastest kid alive. He's a freak of nature. All right, I'll try not to bite it anymore.
Pause it. That was a pretty special moment. Like
break
right
that down.
there.
The 2 PSLs, real quick.
Can you back it up like 2 seconds to a screenshot here, just so I can explain what's happening here? For most of y'all probably know, but if you don't know what's happening, okay. So Century has been a great supporter of Kalash Bash, and they have supported since day one. And last year they basically said, "What do you want?" And we said, "We want to give away a couple of PSLs. Like, we would love to have some PSLs and some other cool shit." And so they sent us 2 PSLs to give away. And we thought at the time, we're going to have these 2 guys compete in a challenge and the winner will get a PSL. And it's one of those things where you're doing like the crowdometer and it's like, all right, shout for this guy. All right, shout for this guy. And we had to do it 3 times. Like, it was like, we couldn't decide. They were both fucking awesome, solid dudes. And we just could not decide who was the winner because the crowd went ape shit for both of them over and over again. And it was like, you just can't make this shit up, right? Clay's like in front of me. These 2 guys are doing the thing. Clay's doing the crowdometer. And Clay like turns around and he looks at me. And I knew exactly why he was looking at me. He didn't even have to open his mouth. And I looked at him and I nodded. And Clay's like, fuck it, we're giving you both PSLs. And both of the guys took home PSLs for that challenge. And it was like it hit you right here. Even Cody with Weapon Gen X was like, guys, I pretty much cried. Like, that was such a special moment. It was
a huge moment. We were not supposed to give that second PSL away that way, but we had to. And just like Tony said, we were going to crush one of these dudes because the crowd cheered equally for both. And it was just like, we couldn't do it. And we made them arm wrestle at the end. So they both get PSLs. The crowd goes wild. Well, then Century steps up and goes, you know what? I'm going to throw in a full case of 7.62 by 54R right now. Make them arm wrestle for it. So they do, and they end up splitting the ammo anyway, which is just hits you right here. And before we finish the video, I need to show these people something. This was the Spirit Animal Award, what we did just now. Well, this year, we have a very special prize.
Look at that shit.
The Spirit Animal.
So gangster.
Championship belt with the new logo. So sick. So not only when we crown a Spirit Animal, as we did, like you just saw, not only are you going to win some dope stuff, you're taking the belt home to flex on everyone else that you came out, you conquered, and you're a freaking Spirit Animal. Let's get back to the video.
Yeah. Hey, Clay, if you would so kindly, when you get to the part of the video where the proposal happens, if you'll pause that, I really want to tell the story of what happened right there.
Okay, so here we go.
Okay. This was somebody literally proposed to their girlfriend at Kalash Bash. What in the hell is going on here? Okay, so
this still hits me. It hits me right here.
Clay, will you tell the first part of the story where what happened leading up to it, and then
okay,
I'll tell the part where it actually happened.
Real quick, the gentleman reaches out to me like a month out, and he goes, "Hey, I'm freaking doing it. I want to propose to my girlfriend at Kalash Bash. Is there a way we could make this special?" So he and I bounced some ideas back around, and I said, "Dude, best thing to do, we'll do it at the awards ceremony. We'll call her number like she won a prize, or she's going to have to do some challenge for a prize. Whatever we do, we're going to blindfold her, bring you up on stage, take the blindfold off, and do it. We'll have the whole crowd there. It'll be great." So everything's according to plan, right? So in the background, he's supposed to text me her badge number so that I know it. So then when we get to the point to where it's time to do this blindfolded challenge, I know her number gets pulled on purpose so we can set the whole thing up. And Tony will tell you what happened.
So Clay's like, "Oh shit." We're like balls deep into the awards ceremony, and we're like, I still haven't heard from this dude. Like, we don't know what this chick's number is. So Clay gets on the microphone and goes, hey, you know, somebody's supposed to send me some very important information. Now's that time. You know, he kind of makes a public announcement, but it's, you know, very ambiguous, right? So we get through maybe like one more prize, and Clay leans over and goes, okay, I got the number, right? And he leans over to me and he's like, the number, I'm going to make it up because I don't remember, but he's like, the number is 227. And I'm like, cool, dude, you got this. And he's like, not even 10 seconds later, he grabs the microphone and pretends like he's drawing a number. And he goes, 226. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? You just said the wrong number. And Clay's like, 226, everybody. And we're like sitting there. And the actual guy that has ticket 226, he's like, yeah. And Clay's like, oh shit, no, sorry, 227. And the whole crowd
got really mad.
The whole crowd got angry. Like, what the fuck is this? Something's not right. Like,
it came off as being rigged.
Yeah, in this moment, the whole crowd is thinking that we're like rigging this shit. And they're like booing. And Clay's like, 227, 227. And she comes up. And the crowd is like totally fucking about to, like, they're about to jump ship, right? And we start getting into the whole thing, and we're like trying to get there as quick as we can. And then finally, AJ, the guy that's down on his knee, finally gets down on his
remember
knee
how we did it? So we blindfolded her and said, we're going to bring an AK up, and you're going to have to feel the AK. And if you can tell us what it is, you'll win the AK. Like, that's the best we could come up with. So she's blindfolded. The whole, bro, remember, the crowd is so mad. They see me kind of scoot her, and they see us do this, and they see him walking. Now everyone knows, okay, what the hell is this? He comes walking down, bro. He gets down on that one knee, and then
he proposes, and everyone's like, oh shit. And then they realize that, yeah, we were kind of putting this together, but we were doing it for this proposal. So it was funny to see like the crowd shift from everyone's happy to like, we're about to fucking mutiny, to, oh shit, there's a proposal happening. Everyone's happy again. It was really funny.
It was cool seeing the swing. And you could see when everyone knew, when they saw him start to get down on one knee, everyone was like, oh my God, phones start coming out. Everyone's got the O face. Anyway, it was an awesome moment. Sorry for pausing so many times. Let's get back to it. Look at the O faces. This is the campsite. Cool. Well, that's Kalash Bash. I think that video really sets the stage for what you all should expect when you get there. Competition. If you bought a ticket for that. If you don't want to shoot the match and you're not into the competition, you know, it's 2 days of just madness, shooting machine guns, testing out vendors' products, winning vendors' products for 2 days, meeting all of these people. And if you buy camping patches, which there are still passes, clearly you saw we don't stop when the daytime festivities are done. And this year we're even turning it up even more at the campsite. We have a really cool nighttime activity planned, as well as the DJ, as well as the bonfire. Those are always there. And you know, the way the campsite is laid out, we really separate the party from where you're actually camping to kind of keep the camp area civil. If you want to go party, cross Gentry Creek. Ask me why we named it that, and head on over to the party area. One thing I wanted to say, and Tony, now you and I talked about this off camera a little bit. We could sit here and just talk about Kalash Bash until we are blue in the face about everything that we put on there, the vendors that we get, the match, and all the blah, blah, blah stuff. But I think the biggest thing that people come to an event like this for is honestly each other. I think for most people, they look more forward to the drive out there, that long road trip, waiting in line with someone they don't know to get, go through registration, get their credentials. They've already met 20 new people. Oh, that's that dude I follow on Instagram. That's that dude I watch on YouTube. Oh, that's that guy that comments on my stuff all the time. Whatever it may be, that's kind of the biggest takeaway that I get when I ask people for feedback. They're like, honestly, dude, I just got to hang out around people that were just like me for 2 solid days. The match and everything else was sick, but just having a place to go and be around those people, and then it not stopping for 2 days. Not only do we get to do all this stuff together during the day, but I pitched a tent next to a couple that I'd never met before. And I'm going to their freaking wedding a year from now. Like, I met them at Kalash Bash at the campsite. Like, stuff like that happens. And these are type of people that if you're into this hobby, you are going to get along with. Being into this hobby is such a niche thing that you're going to have so many things in common with these people that's so hard to find wherever it is that you're from. We all know we go to gun ranges with our AKs and our LARP gear, our Type 56 chest rigs. We stick out like a sore thumb. We don't really fit in very well. So when you're around, 1,000 other people just like that, everyone fits in. There's no cliques. There's no egos. It's just a lot of good attitudes and a lot of good friendships are made.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest part of it, man.
These things don't last forever. They have life cycles, just like anything good. Think of, the greatest festivals of the past and the greatest festivals that we've ever been to. And they all have a life cycle. They will peak at one point and then they eventually move on to other things. And so the reality of it is that Kalash Bash, it's a part of our timeline. Clay and I get to be the spearheads of putting this on. And we're not professional party planners. We're not professional event planners. Like, we literally created a business so that we could do this for y'all. It meant more to us that we were able, we had the time and the energy to do this and we consider all of y'all our friends. So it's like, if we can get 1,000 of our friends together and do this, we're no different than y'all. Clay and my story, when we're old, I don't even think our grandchildren will believe us when we get to say, hey, we did some pretty stupid shit, back in the day. I don't know if anyone will really legitimately believe our story, but we are so proud of you. We're so proud of all the people that get to come out there. And I hope that for those of y'all who are like in this timeline right now and shoot AKs and you're into this community, even if it's a drive, even if it's a flight, you really should come experience Kalash Bash, because when that life cycle's over, you'll be able to look back and say, I went to that. And it was probably one of the sickest things ever. And we are just extremely proud to be able to experience that with y'all. So we love you. We hope that y'all be able to make it out. If you have any questions about the event, or if we can help kind of guide some of the logistics to make it a more viable experience for you, you know how to get in touch with us. You can reach out to Clay in his DMs, or you can DM us over at Kalash Bash. Like, this is a community event that's put on by people who are in the community. It's a good way to put it.
To answer the Boogalorians question, yes, LARPing is absolutely encouraged. We actually give prizes away to the very best LARP, the best costume. We give some pretty cool shit away. And guys, I haven't said this yet. I dropped I don't know if you'll be able to copy and paste that. Look for my most recent post here. I'll highlight it here. Tony has started a YouTube page for Khyber Customs. He's going to start producing videos on product that he's selling, how-tos, how he slings AKs, how to mount cheese graters, how to mount peep sights on M92s. I urge you to use this link. Go subscribe to the Khyber Customs YouTube channel. He's really going to start to pour a lot of content on there. So you should definitely go check that out. Feel free to go follow Khyber Customs on Instagram and Third Pin Threads. And you won't miss any of this stuff. Everything that we do here, Instagram, it's so easy to put. I know a lot of people don't do Instagram, but it's so easy for us to to get messages out quickly with Instagram. So it's a great tool if you're interested in events or companies or just people that you're into to get quick announcements or updates. Instagram's great for that. I know for me, that's usually the first place I go post on if I need to get something out quickly. Then I'll move everything over to Facebook and YouTube. But by all means, spread the love on the Khyber Customs YouTube page. He's already got some great stuff on there.
I just want to serve the community, and I want to build brands and make things that y'all want. So if you have ideas or you have suggestions on things that would be cool, like legitimately cool, tell us, tell me, tell Clay. Clay and I are going to be working together on projects and cool ideas for a long fucking time. So we're in it for the long haul. Thank y'all for jumping on our train. And just so y'all know, there's no breaks. Where we're going is it's going to be an epic fucking ride. So tell your friends, get on board. We'll see you at Kalash Bash. Go get some third pin.
Well, guys, as we draw to the end here, flood the comment section right now. This was our very first time. We worked really hard on trying to have videos queued up. We worked really hard on this background and having, you don't want to know how long Rachel made me clean my room. I never cleaned my room, but I had to.
I said something yesterday about it. Hey, bro.
Yeah. Let us know. Did we do okay? Do you want to, obviously Tony and I, we get along really well, so we have good chemistry together, but do you want us to make this a regular thing? Should we go live? We're still right now got 150 plus people watching this thing. That is so freaking cool. Do you want us to keep doing this? If so, I will absolutely make it a point to start going live more, to answer your questions. Those of you that did leave a tip in the chat, thank you so freaking much. It is absolutely not necessary, but those of you that do, I really do appreciate it. And yeah, let us know. Do you want us to do this more? We have all the gear now, so I think we could pull it off again if we tried.
Mm-hmm. And we can have more guests too. The software that Clay is using to broadcast this to YouTube has a lot of capabilities. So if there's other personalities that you would love to see in this kind of format on his YouTube channel, let him know. Dude, we thought about doing a podcast, and there's most likely going to be something that is like a regular fucking chat thing coming in the future. We also have a couple of ideas for gun content that has a greater likelihood of being monetized. So imagine if we were to put out content where we're not actually specifically calling out, a company and where to buy shit, or showing you how to actually make modifications. But what if we did, some really cool content where we're just shooting? We're not talking about companies. We're not talking about where to buy shit. We're just shooting and having fun.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that content has the possibility of being monetized. And we've been thinking about throwing around some really interesting content in that direction as well.
No, this will not be a replacement for weekly uploads. I try to put a video up every Saturday at 9 a.m. Those of you that are subbed, I have maintained a weekly video with a Saturday upload for about a year. That is a video a week. It's a daunting task, but I have no plans on not doing it. We didn't upload yesterday just because it took so long to get all of this set up. I just saved this Saturday's video for next weekend. So you're going to see part 2 of the BRN 180 video. That's already ready to go for next week. But I really wanted to focus on this to make this as good as it possibly could be for this weekend. It is absolutely not a replacement for feature-length videos. So don't think those are going away. That ain't happening. Someone had a good comment earlier that we should do a third pin podcast, or at least call it that. I love the idea. We could literally call this a third pin chat or something of that nature, because it literally is the best way to support the channel. It is the best supporter of the channel. So
I see Third Pin being the brand that we leverage to really start expanding into a very diverse kind of customer base and doing gun content, but not like, hey, here's how to assemble a trigger, right? Like we talked a lot about this before, Clay, but expect to see the Third Pin brand being leveraged in very interesting places and in much bigger places than it has in the past.
Yeah, and unfortunately, like Tony was saying, monetizing videos shouldn't really be like a bad word. I know some people, it's weird. No one has an issue if like a guy's going out and he's filming his Corvette or something, a Cletus McFarlane, every video is monetized, and it doesn't you know, it doesn't bother anyone. Not only is it monetized, he is pushing merch, selling really awesome merch, selling his events. There's definitely a stigma to monetizing gun content. A lot of people think that we should just, you know, fight the power and do this all for free, but it is extremely expensive to do it at a level where people would honestly watch. So to have videos that are monetizable, you know, YouTube, Big Brother, there's a lot they don't like, and there's a lot that they will really threaten to pull your entire channel down over. So it really makes you kind of clean your content up a little bit. So Third Pin being an apparel company, it really does offer a blanket over a lot of this stuff where maybe YouTube will just leave us the hell alone and let us monetize videos more frequently to help pay for some of this stuff. And when I say monetize, I'm talking a video might put $40 in your freaking bank account. You know, that's a gas a tank to the range, but it's something. So, you know, if you see a commercial before a video, don't hate us. It does help a little bit. So we try to make them monetizable.
Yeah, we talked about this in a previous chat. Maybe this is for a future topic down the road, but it's kind of an interesting dynamic that, you know, YouTube is in by allowing content to be streamed, but they're not allowing it to be monetized. And so it's like, it's a huge segment of their audience. And these companies like YouTube, they're willing to fight to the death for subscribers. That's essentially the metric that they measure the success of their platform. And so to alienate, you know, gun tubers or to alienate gun owners is such a huge portion of their subscriber. Obviously, they don't want to lose you as a subscriber, but at the same time, they have these terms of service where they don't want to pay you for making that type of content. So there's this really interesting dynamic happening with social media and gun content where they don't want you to leave, but they just don't want to pay you, you know, for your time and for your efforts. And so it's a very weird thing, and it's certainly worthy of a long topic in the future, or a long conversation in the future. But regardless of that, one thing that Clay and I have acknowledged is that there's always going to be an appetite for gun content. So even if YouTube, Instagram, Facebook says, fuck you, get off our platform, that doesn't mean that you, who's watching this, is going to say, well, I guess I'm done watching gun content. I'm going to go, you know, fuck off with some other like cooking channel. No, you're still going to have an appetite for wanting to watch gun content, which means if they kick us off, they're kicking you off too. And you're going to have to go and figure out where that content is. And Clay and I, our promise to you, and I know, you know, Clay feels just as passionate about this as I do, is wherever that is, we're going, right? Like we're always going to be looking for ways to get ahead of this type of stuff and be creative and make sure that we're feeding the appetite that y'all have for this type of content.
Well, guys, I think that's a great topic to end on, knowing that, you know, we work very hard to put out this content, and we work very hard to, unfortunately, make YouTube leave us the hell alone where we can all get together and do this kind of stuff. But with your help, it makes it all worth it, man. This was so much fun with so many of you watching. Even now we have 140 people, but I want to let you all get to your Labor Day weekend. Stay up late. We're not working tomorrow. I know I'm not. We're going to grill some burgers and have some chili dogs tomorrow for Labor Day. Freaking excited. So, Tony, this was fun, man. I think the crowd has spoken. We're definitely going to do this again very soon. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I had fun. Thank you for the plug on Khyber, and thank you for letting us hang out here. So, and thank you to all your subscribers, all the people that showed up tonight. Y'all had some really great questions and great engagement. It's a pleasure to meet you all. I hope to see and meet a lot of you at Kalash Bash here in the next 30 days.
30 days, man. This is when I get nervous, start watching the freaking weather like a hawk, because I follow the hawk. Gotta watch the weather like it too. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Love you. Bye.